Starting. All right, guys, we're here. We're live. We made it on time, I believe, for the first time ever. Back podcasting. My name's Joey Gramone, aka Chicago Joey. We're here again with one of my first guests ever, the man, the super grinder, Supernova 9, Dani Stern, Ansky. What's up, buddy? How are you doing?
What's up, Joe? How's it going? Thank you for having me back again.
I'm glad that you wore the same tank top you wore the first time when you were on. I was at the same.
I dug it up. It doesn't get worn very often.
So apparently Dani has worn a tank top twice in the past 1 year, and he's worn it both times on here. So we got a lot of love for that, man. How you doing, Dani? What's been going on? How are things going?
You were getting my name right first, and then you switched back to Dani.
Shit. Okay, hold on. Dani. That's Dani. Okay. Dani Stern. Okay, not Dani. I don't know why I call you. It's just like a habit when you see D-A-N, you just call people.
You're not the first. Don't worry.
All right, Dani. Actually, so Dani. All right, so on the podcast, I'm trying this new. People always want to know what I'm talking about on the podcast, so I put a little list together of topics we're going to talk about. So that way, if you guys are watching this out there or on iTunes, it's finally up on iTunes, guys. You can Google. You can look on iTunes. The link's in the description, and you can finally find the podcast down there. We're going to talk about Dani's recent move to Vancouver from Mexico, his experience down in Mexico, some recent live poker travels, the state of online PLO right now, the new poker obsession, Twitch, and some other things, man. So, Dani, what's going on, man? Why are you in Vancouver? Why'd you leave Mexico?
We got just kind of tired of life down there in Playa. I mean, I enjoyed my time there a lot. I was there for 18 months, but kind of knew eventually I'd have to leave. It's just not like a very permanent place. It's kind of like a fun place to spend a lot of time, but not. It didn't feel. I never quite felt like it was like my home. Like I was like really ever settled there. It's you like I when I first moved down there, I really enjoyed the sort of like small town, beach town, like relaxed atmosphere for a while. But then after a while, it sort of gets annoying. Like it's very relaxing and it's beautiful and it's like a very calm lifestyle there. But then after a certain point, you're like, well, damn it. Like when my toilet breaks, I don't want to wait 2 weeks to get it fixed. You know, like things like that just start like driving you crazy. And also, like it's a small town, Playa del Carmen. There's not a ton to do other than like party and like doing like some outdoor activities, like going to the beach and scuba diving and snorkeling, that sort of thing. And just like even like my fiance and I, we would just go to the same restaurants like over and over and over again, you know, and like we liked them, they were good, but like it's just. It gets kind of boring and you've just like been everywhere in the city like 20 times, you know?
Yeah, so you decided to move to my favorite place to live in that I've ever lived, Vancouver. And why'd you pick Vancouver over someplace like Toronto or someplace? I mean, obviously you got the world you can move to. So why'd you decide Vancouver was the spot to go?
Well, we definitely didn't want to keep like we didn't want to do like Costa Rica or anything like that, because I felt like that was like kind of similar to our experience in Mexico. So we wanted to move back to like English speaking world. Honestly, like Europe is just like a little bit too complicated to deal with, like anywhere there, and like getting a visa anywhere is like kind of complicated. Obviously can't move to the US. And we had lived in Toronto previously for 2 years after Black Friday. And kind of were bored of that and wanted to try something new. And I lived in Montreal for 4 years in college. That's where I went to school. And I did not want to move back to Montreal because the winters were just too brutal there. I just can't handle it. So honestly, not to discredit Vancouver for being a great place all its own, but basically we ran out of cities that we can try. Like we're just like, we have to move to Vancouver. There's nowhere else. We kind of just ruled out everywhere else, and we're like, well, that just leaves Vancouver.
Man, Vancouver's so awesome. Where did you decide to?
I'm just saying that's how we ended up here.
Where'd you decide to get a place at in Vancouver? What part of town are you in right now?
Right now, I'm just in an Airbnb that we rented for the month of April, and it's in Yaletown, which not my favorite neighborhood, really, to be honest. But we just rented, or we're going to start a 1-year lease on a place in like in West End sort of area.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
not sure if it's that well. Sorry?
I didn't live in West End once. There was actually one nightclub that was in West End that we frequented quite often, but I lived in Yaletown and Gastown and then more downtownish. But Yaletown I really like. It's smaller. It's got a lot of nice restaurants there. I don't know. I like that. That was a pretty decent spot, I thought, to live in there.
The only reason I don't really like it that much is that it's all sort of like high-rise condos, which is not really like the type of place I want to live in right now. I'd rather live in like a house. I mean, ideally I'd live in a house, but I don't want to live in like the burbs just yet.
Not married yet, right?
No, not yet, but soon.
Were you engaged last time you were on? I felt like it was just girlfriend at that time.
No, we got engaged in November.
I didn't see like one of those. Did you do like a fancy video? You know, every day you see these videos online. It's like a guy who sets up like an intricate maze for his fiance to find a proposal with a song and a video. Did you do anything like that?
No, I didn't do anything like that. No, it was just a pretty, I don't want to say traditional or whatever, but it was, just a normal proposal in our favorite sushi restaurant.
I like it, man. I like it. Guys, we are live streaming this as always. Comments, questions, more than welcome for either myself or for Dani. I see we got a lot of the same regulars out there. I'm not streaming this on Twitch today. So if you're watching this on Twitch, you're not watching this on Twitch because I can't. I'm a little over Twitch right now. The place is like you've been streaming on Twitch, Dani. Why haven't we seen you streaming some 5100 heads up on Twitch yet? What's happening, man? Why haven't you been on there? Everyone's on Twitch now.
Yeah, I got no problem with Twitch. I'm a fan of it. I've been watching some people's some streams. You're not likely to see me doing it. I don't particularly want to give out that free information. If it was around like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, for sure, I think that's something I would have done. But my perspective and sort of my goals and what I'm going for in poker have changed since then. So it's not something I'm interested in doing right now. But I think it's interesting, and I'm really happy for guys like Jason Somerville who've had a ton of success doing it. And I think I saw there was another guy, I don't really know him, but Jamie Staples or something like that. Mm-hmm. Poker Staples. I don't know anything about him, but I saw he's like another guy that just got a sponsorship from doing all his Twitch stuff. I think it's good for poker. I think it's really interesting, and I have heard some inside gossip that like specifically like Jason Somerville's Twitch is doing really well for stars from like a marketing perspective, like signing up new players, and it makes total sense. I mean, to be honest, like the demographic that it's targeting, like those gamers, guys, like young adult males, those are just like the perfect poker customers, guys who are in like the gamer community. That's just like something that's just like right up their alley, and it's super targeted. So I think it's really cool. But from a personal perspective, don't get your hopes up. It's probably not going to happen.
You said that your perspective 4 years ago has changed, and you might have done it before. How was your perspective then compared to right now? Why would you might have done it then instead of now?
Well, like right after 2 months, 2 million, I had kind of a good thing going with like I got a Doyle's Room sponsorship, and I was making training videos, and I was making a lot of money from poker related activities, but not actually playing poker. And I was very much like, I was thinking about doing stuff that, increased my brand value or whatever, stuff like that. I mean, I was making, I was getting on some poker TV shows and wearing a patch and making a bunch of money from that. Like doing things like that was a little, I was thinking more about doing that type of thing. And to be honest, it was kind of distracting me from being a better poker player, because that wasn't my number one focus, was no longer getting better at poker and like making my game my number one priority. And then after Black Friday, that all just came crashing down, and I really had to like refocus and prioritize becoming just a better poker player and forget about all that other stuff. And now I've gotten back to the point where I know I could make a lot of money from something like training videos or coaching. stuff I used to do a lot of. I do none of it now. But now it's to the point where even though I could make money doing that, I think it's no longer in my best interest because I'm playing high enough stakes that, you know, making a few $1,000s a month, I mean, you can make many $1,000s a month doing that, but it's not going to be worth my time. I think it would be negative EV compared to focusing on playing poker and just being a better poker player. And also it's the type of situation where it used to be, you know, I make, you know, training videos, you can make a few people better, but the player pool is still like weak enough that I didn't concern myself too much with it. Whereas nowadays it's way too cutthroat. There's just, the margins are too small. I don't want to even think about doing something like that.
Yeah, you mentioned something that I've actually talked to a couple people about that I know stream on Twitch, is that you're focusing on doing those things rather than getting better. And some people that I've talked to say that them streaming on Twitch is actually like better for them. But I really would argue with a lot of people, like focusing on doing that is actually bad for your overall poker improvement. Like you're just, I think you're, I can't quite like verbalize the exact reason why I think that, but I just think that a lot of people are focusing way too much on like a lot of the beginner players, or like even the micro stakes or small stakes guys. Like they're thinking about their stream when they should be really thinking about getting better at poker and putting that work into poker instead of putting the work into, you know, one tabling or two tabling on the stream and talking to people for 3 hours.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't think it's totally invalid that like I do think when I was making Deuces Crack videos, I did get better from my videos because a lot of times people would critique my play in the videos and would point out something that maybe I was doing wrong, and I would very often, you know, take that into consideration and use that advice. And I'm sure when you're streaming, when you're on Twitch, you're probably very focused, or not. I don't know if you're focused, but you're at least, you know, people are watching you, so you're conscious of what you're doing. So that might help people in some way. You know, that might be like a little bit of a thing, but to compare that to like, you know, devoting hours a day to, you know, studying or just playing more hours, you know, that I can't imagine that it compares. I mean, I like, you know, most of the streamers I see, like almost none of them use a HUD even, which is fine for like the stream, you know, it's like you can't, it would sort of distract from maybe the user experience, but like, you know, you're also just giving up information by not using a HUD because you're streaming. So it doesn't make too much sense to me to, you know, like I said, I think for certain people it makes a lot of sense and good for them, and I'm happy to see people having success doing it. But you know, as an overall career path, to me it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's I wonder what I would do if I was like in the coming up stages of poker now, which a lot of people, I mean, you obviously have some established people that are streaming on Twitch. I mean, established in, you know, when I say established, how established are they really? For instance,
well, have you seen Big Dog Pocket Five's Twitch?
The tournament, it's like watching tournament poker on TV to me. Like
no, you gotta watch his Twitch, especially if he's streaming. You gotta wait until, because you know there's a 5-minute delay. You gotta find out when he busts on a big Sunday tournament, and then tune in 5 minutes later. It's great. It's really good entertainment. I'm not like criticizing him. I'm being serious. Like he's really great entertainment because he's like, you know, he's like this sort of, you know, middle-aged Canadian guy who sits there drinking Heinekens and like burping on his Twitch stream and is just kind of, you know, he's kind of sloppy. And he's just like, he's very animated, and it's really funny actually to watch his Twitch. I can't tune in for more than like half an hour, but you know, for like the highlights, it's really funny. It's good stuff. I don't know if he's trying to be entertaining, so I apologize to him if I'm insulting him by that. But I really enjoy it.
Maybe he's just trying to be himself. Watching tournaments, people playing playing a tournament doesn't sound fun. Watching someone play a tournament does not sound fun either. So unless it's like I'm trying to go to sleep at nighttime and like I put on a run at once video of someone like of Sam Greenwood talking about reverse blockers and playing a tournament, then I don't mind having a nice tournament video on then. But outside of Sam Greenwood, man, I can't watch him. Or Phil Galfond, if he's playing like a PLO tournament, I can listen to that video because, you know, that video is good.
Yeah, tournaments are, they're like 99% torture and like 1% like amazing euphoria. It's like what the experience. If you've never had success in a tournament, I can totally understand why you would hate tournaments and never want to like see them. But you know, the rare times where you go deep in a tournament, it's just like, it's awesome. It's just so much fun, and it's exhilarating. And that's why kind of streaming tournaments are actually kind of great, because you just wait until somebody goes deep and then they have a stream on. And then all of a sudden it's just like, it's just the exciting part. You know, nobody wants to watch a stream of somebody playing like level 2 of the Sunday Million. Like, that's obviously going to be really boring.
I can't have this happen, because last time I had Big Dick Donger Kim on a podcast, and he was talking so highly about playing tournaments that after the podcast, I started playing some tournaments on the stream, and I couldn't understand why people play. I was playing them, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't understand how people do these. And now you're starting to convince me to want to go play tournaments and stream them again. So
when did he say that? That's interesting timing, because when I played with him in Aussie Millions in like January, like end of January, and he was telling me that like he's done with tournaments. Like, this is his last go, because he's like, I've lost so much money playing tournaments, but all my friends keep saying I should play. You know, like all the Team Evil guys, they all like want him to play. And he's like, but I don't think I'm good at them. I don't enjoy it. I think I'm done. So I'm surprised that he was saying that
before the TC challenge, I had him on. He said that last week, or about a week and a half ago, he came back on for an official podcast, and he said that's changed. That's viewpoint. I think he won the challenge. He's like, oh fuck, now what? You know, like, what do I do now in Heads Up No Limit World? No one's playing me. Like, I'm, you know, like, well, let me go play some more tournaments. And then I think the challenge is there for him, and the chase that, as you said, the glory, go deep in that tournament. I think everyone kind of wants to do that at one point in their life. And
yeah, well, I mean, you know, one thing with like when you're playing high stakes cash, and it's the same in No Limit or PLO, there's a lot of downtime where there's just no action. So, you know, the opportunity to play a high stakes tournament is kind of exciting, because I know I'm going to get action. I'm just going to play, and and that's it. You know, there's no waiting around. There's no like, you know, it's really frustrating when you are really in the mood to play poker, and you know, I log on and I sit everywhere on all the sites I play on, and I'm just sitting there, and there's just nothing. Like, I can play like 2 tables of 5-10 if I want to or whatever, but there's nothing else, you know? And that's kind of like, it's really disappointing when that happens. So even though tournaments, I don't really like them compared to, like, like an hour of PLO is like 10 times more fun to me than an hour of tournaments. Even though I much prefer playing PLO, I still enjoy the opportunity to just be in action and get, you know, especially any high stakes tournament is always like really exciting.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're playing, I guess, wonder how much he said he was going to play some online too, but I wonder if you're playing online, like, I guess that is the upside to playing a tournament, is you always are going to be able to get action. You can play anytime you want. But online, I mean, do you play any online tournaments at all, or are those kind of all, most of the time they're pretty low stakes, I think, for the most part, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't play too many online tournaments. My weekly tournament schedule is something like maybe 4 tournaments. I play the 1K on Tuesday on Stars, and then on Sunday I'll play maybe 3 tournaments, something like that. I'll play like the Sunday Million, the Sunday 500, and like the Supersonic. So I usually, you know, I'm usually like playing PLO the whole time if I can, and then just have like those on the side. And then if I go deep, I stop playing cash. And for the most part, it's like you said, the thing is that kind of like I would play more tournaments if they were higher stakes. But it's just like a little bit like any like they call them, you know, they say that they're like high stakes online MTT players because they're playing like the highest stakes. But most of those guys have an average buy-in of like $120, you know, because there's just nothing like I'm not saying they wouldn't play higher, but there isn't like enough high stakes tournaments online for them. Like the average, you know, on like a random Thursday or something, like the biggest buy-in is like a 162 or something like that. Maybe there's a 300. I don't even know. And it's kind of crazy because tournaments, the multi-table tournaments, if you think about it, are the only form of online poker where there's almost no high stakes that runs regularly. The highest stakes is basically like equivalent of like low stakes. Like a Sunday Million is like, it's like playing like 1-2. It's like bigger. It's a little bit bigger than 1-2. And the difference is that when you go deep in it, you're all of a sudden playing like ridiculously high stakes. Mm-hmm. But it's just like in terms of buy-ins, I mean, You know, sit and goes have really high stakes. All the mixed games have really high stakes. PLO, I mean, everything has high stakes that runs sometimes. But tournaments, you have to pretty much wait until Scoop to get any sort of regular high stakes action. I mean, even the 1K on Tuesday, I wouldn't consider that like high stakes. It's like a 1K World Series event is like pretty low stakes relatively.
Like, it feels like the trend live's gone differently. It feels like live, there's a lot more high stakes now. There's a lot more 10Ks, 25Ks, 50Ks. So like online seems like it's gone this way. Live's, kind of up that way where there's so much high stakes action going on, it feels like. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily like criticizing the way stars and sites make their schedule. Having those massive 5,000 person tournaments on Sundays is like good for the site, and it's good. It's a good draw to the site. Just the Sunday Million, get 250K to first every Sunday, or 200K, whatever. That's obviously good marketing. And they want to have satellites to everything, so they want field sizes to be really big. But yeah, like you said, in live tournaments, I mean, everybody talks about the decline of poker and how it's dying. It's really not the case for live poker. I mean, you go to these live tournaments and it's incredible. I mean, main events these days at every EPT and every WPT, they're like incredible. They're really soft and they get huge numbers. EPT Barcelona got like 1,200 people or something. They got 500 people for their last year for the high roller, which is a 10K tournament with no satellites to it. They got over 500 people, and like the PCA 25K has no satellites and gets 200 people every year. Like live poker is thriving in my opinion. I don't think there's any issues. And when you go and you play like a World Series 1500, I mean, it's like a time machine. It's like you're playing poker in 2004. It's unbelievable. Obviously, online poker is a totally different story, but I mean, these live stops, they're really great. I mean, there's just tons of people playing.
Now you're making me want to go play live poker in addition to tournaments. So
I mean, don't do it if you hate it, but I mean,
no,
in terms of just like, I'm not saying for people should do it or not. I'm just speaking totally on like the state of poker,
Well, you were just at EPT Malta, and I saw you tweet some things out. You said you saw Zygmunt like being, I don't fucking Zygmunt. Who knows what Zygmunt likes to do when he's, what was the Zygmunt thing you tweeted out about?
Yeah, I played 200, 400 PLO with Zygmunt at EPT Malta, and it was a riot. It was like, I've never seen anything like it. He was drinking the whole time, and first of all, I don't think he plays any worse when he was drinking. Like, he played exactly how I expected. Like, exactly how he always plays. Like, he was playing fine while wasted, which is really surprising. If anything, he played even tighter when he was drunk. I mean, he's so like abrasive and obnoxious, but in this somehow charming like way that makes everybody like love him. It's really crazy, He's like yelling and screaming at people and like cursing at them and just saying like outrageous stuff, but it's just always funny, and it's never in like an asshole way. It's really remarkable. There should be a reality show that just features only drunk Zygmunt. It would be great.
Who else was in this game that you were playing?
It was myself, Zygmunt, Ike, Hollywood Haxton, as you call him on the podcast.
Hollywood.
I don't know. Is there something weird about saying who's in a game? Is that maybe I shouldn't be saying that?
I don't know. I don't know why you.
I won't say any of the fun players that were in the game. But I guess now by saying who wasn't the fun players, and I'm identifying who the fun players were.
Is that your way of? I'm just trying to put my Hollywood Haxton glasses on shortly. Is that your way of saying? Is that your way of saying our friend Dan Fu was in the game? Was Dan Fu playing?
Dan Fu was not in the game. I did meet Dan Fu though in Malta. He was a nice guy. I played some PLO tournament with him.
Did you meet any other guys? I know Jay Nandez. You're gonna be on the podcast again soon, by the way, for people out there. He was out there. I know a lot of people were out there. Mr. Beanu was out there. I know Jeans. I think Jeans was there too.
Yeah, I met Jeans. I've met a lot of the Finnish poker players because I'm good friends with Emil Patel, Moonlight, and he's now an honorary Finn. So I've gotten to meet a lot of the Finns through him. And yeah, I met who did I meet from PLO World? Action Freak. I played with him in the tournament. I don't know. Rafi Amit was there. Played with him in that 200 400 game. A few guys like that, like just random high stakes PLO guys.
Did you meet anybody new who you were like excited to meet, or when you met them, you were like, oh wow, you're that person, or like it was you never met before?
No, I didn't meet any of the people who I've like always like been like, I really want to meet this guy. No one like that. I guess the cleaner was there, but I've met the cleaner before. But you know, it was like you know, maybe I actually hadn't met him before. But we like both like knew who each other. We, you know, I mean, we played like 1,000 hours of poker against each other. So when we saw each other, it was like we were good friends. You know, like, oh hey buddy, like how you been? Even though we've never actually met each other, just because, you know, I mean, it's just like it's a small player pool at high stakes, so you just play with the same people over and over and over again.
Yeah. Do you find that when you meet people in real life that you play with online, you have this like instant camaraderie, or you have this like instant bond with them, even if like you hate them online and you battled, you still meet them in person, and it feels like, you know, this is like one of your people, kind of like you play with them so much, like they're like, I don't know, they're kind of like you in a way.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit of that. Definitely, there's a little bit of a feeling of, especially with like PLO, where it's not that big of a community. You know, there's, you know, when I go play tournaments, there's guys I play tournaments with all the time, but there's like 1,000 of them. You know, yeah. So it's not as much of like a I don't want to say like close knit group, because it's not like a PLO community is like close knit. I like, you know, I don't talk to that many about PLO world, but there's definitely like a feeling of you know, somebody being like my colleague almost in PLO. Like when I play with somebody, like some random tournament player who I've played with a few times online, I don't feel any like kinship with them, you know. But when I see like the cleaner, I'm like, buddy. Like,
I know the cleaner, right?
you know.
That was pretty much how I felt when I met everyone in Vegas. Like when I met Kobus and Ravenswood and Johan and Cleaner, I'm just like, God, man, like these are like the people, you know. These are like, you know, there's only like, I don't know how many online PLO guys there are. There are a couple hundred maybe. Okay, so when you see like, yeah, like 7 or 8 or 10 in a room, it's like, holy shit, this is pretty sweet. You know, I wish there was like a place we could all live in, like you actually, you know, like you. I don't know. It's I think it's fun meeting people that you play a lot with online and meet them in real life and kind of see what they're like.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice to put a face to the name. You don't always get to do that. There are some guys who will forever be in the shadows.
It's true. Barry Sweet is going to stay in the shadows, I think, for a long time.
That's what I hear. One of the Swedish poker players told me that nobody in the Swedish poker community knows who Barry Sweet is or has had any contact with him, which I think is crazy.
Well, I know one person that's currently talking in this podcast that may or may not have contact with Barry Sweet. Shout out to Barry Sweet, man. Barry Sweet is he's very smart guy.
Do you know him? Is that why you're?
He's a friend of the podcast, Barry Sweet.
No, I've played obviously like 1 million hours against him. So
yeah, he always gives me some great ideas for podcast ideas, but he won't come on a podcast a lot because he's
understandable. A lot of people really, you know, they need their anonymity, and it's totally understandable. I respect that.
Did you get a chance to meet Ravenswood or Kobus out there in Malta?
I did not. They both live there, right?
I think Kobus might move back, but I know Ravenswood still lives
there. Malta. No, I didn't meet any of the Dutch guys except for Cleaner. Cleaner told me also that the Dutch tax law is changing, so a lot of the Dutch guys are starting to move back to from the UK or from Malta back to the Netherlands.
Yeah, the Dutch guys are awesome. I mean, I think I met like 5 or 6 of the PLO guys, and they were all like extremely fun, and they were all extremely tall too, obviously, because everyone in Dutch is
Dutch people in general are usually really cool. They have, I don't know, there's something about that country. It produces like a great attitude on life from most of the Dutch guys I've met.
Speaking of attitude in poker, I'm just going to take that segue and go over here. Okay, so a lot of people have been complaining on Twitter lately on 2+2 about so much negativity in poker. Everyone's so negative. They're so like, hateful and down, and that's because games are getting harder. People are not winning as much. People are more makeup. What do you like? What do you think about that in general? Like, because that's pretty much like seems to be what I see a lot of madness going on online right now.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty common characteristic of poker players to be critical, negative. I don't think it's always bad. I mean, with a lot of things, poker players complain a ton, but then it gets results. What's the phrase? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Is that what it is? Yeah. It's just, you never heard that before? Squeaky wheel gets the grease?
I don't think so, no.
Well, think about it. It makes sense. If you make a bunch of noise, you're more likely to get your problem fixed.
Oh, okay.
Gets the grease, and the grease fixes the squeakiness. Anyway,
I better start making some noise. The Greg Merson, I call it Greg Merson playing live poker at the Aria. He made some noise at the Aria.
Well, I mean, like think about like the case of like, Stars rake increases. Like people went ballistic, and then it changed. It went back. There's a lot of things like that. Like things that the world, like Stars is obviously like the best example of like a industry site, like listening to players, but even like at the World Series, they do too. And when people complain a ton about something, it sometimes produces results. Not always, obviously. Sometimes shit just stays bad forever. So there is that aspect of it why poker players complain a lot. But you're right. It's true that people are in the poker world are very often negative, and there is a lot of hate, I'd say. I don't know. I don't really have that much to say about it. For the most part, stuff that really bothers me or brings me down, I just try to avoid it in life. And
same.
I don't put too much thought into some of that stuff. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that. I think everybody should hang out with Lucky Chewy, and that'll change your way of your negative ways. You ever hung out with Lucky Chewy?
I haven't hung out with Lucky Chewy. A couple people suggested I get him on a podcast though, because he's.
Yeah, you should do that. You should, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, he's just like the most positive, like always upbeat, everything's gonna be okay sort of attitude about everything. I'm very guilty of like stressing over like minor things. Like it's something I try to avoid, but I find myself doing it all the time. If I'm like stuck in traffic and I'm gonna be like 2 minutes late for something, I get really pissed off when it's really just not that big a deal. Stuff like that is just something that I would be nice if I could just chill out sometimes about things. But he's like the exact opposite. He's a person who's just like, it's okay. Oh, you might miss your big blind. It's fine. Everything will be okay. Like, I mean, I'm not doing it justice really, but yeah, I think he would be a great podcast participant.
Definitely gonna try to get him on a podcast now that a lot of people have suggested. I don't know much about him. I just know he's got some pretty sick like facial hair outfit combination going on right now. I'm assuming he did a lot of acid, or he's been doing a lot of hallucinogenics, and now he's in tune with the alleging. We're alleging there, guys. We don't have inside information on those type of things, but usually
you didn't sorry to interrupt, but you didn't tell everyone that that you're drinking whiskey with me.
Oh yeah, so the first time Donnie was on, he was drinking, obviously. For those that know, that was fun. As the podcast went on, you noticed Donnie got a little bit more drunk. But this time I didn't want him to drink alone, so I went out today for the first time ever. I got some whiskey. And then I came back home and actually realized I had a bottle of Jim Beam that was opened already on my fridge. So my first time drinking whiskey and Coke is tonight. I put some stuff out on Twitter. I got some good recommendations. And what are you drinking right now? So whiskey, talk to me about whiskey. I'm really enjoying it so far. I like it better than vodka, anything I've ever had right now. So what's the...
Yeah, I love whiskey. I think it's, I think it's a great drink, and there's just so many different types and they all taste so different. And I've become like a really big fan over the years of Scotch and bourbon. And right now I'm drinking this. I've never had this before. It's Finlagen single malt Isla. Let me put it up there.
Finn Lagen. Okay.
I've never had it before, but the liquor store across the street had some, so I picked it up. This is I'm not like an expert on any of this stuff, but this is Scotch, so which means it's from Scotland, and it's a Islay, which is a type of. The last time I was on, I was drinking Lefroy, which is also an Islay. It's a specific type of Scotch that is very distinct from other Scotch in that it's very peaty, is what they call it. Peaty basically means like smoky, and if you have like a certain type of Islay malt, like a certain type of Islay Scotch, it'll smell almost like a campfire. Like it's very, very smoky. It has something to do with the barrels that they're aged in. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too certain about it, but that's like my favorite type of Scotch, where it's like, some people find it very offensive because it's like it's like very, very like strong and musky. You know, it smells like almost like an old barn.
So I asked this on Twitter, and some people said, "Oh, I asked what I mix. What is Coke and like whiskey and Coke? Is that standard? So is that like when you're a noob, you drink that, but as you become more pro, you stop mixing in like ginger ale and 7-Up. You just start drinking it neat."
Yeah, I think my progression from, because I mean it's a bit much to go straight into the hard stuff just like by itself. I think my progression was something like Crown and Coke, which is Crown is rye. It's a type of whiskey. It's Canadian whiskey. Then I started drinking bourbon with ice, like Maker's Mark with just ice, with like a lot of ice, so it would water it down a lot. And then I started getting it with like very little ice. And then I started getting like Scotch and just drinking it neat with no ice, maybe like a couple drops of water. That's like kind of standard. But yeah, it took some time before I was like interested in the really strong stuff. But in general, I like my taste in food and stuff. I like a strong, like very, very like aggressive flavors. Like, you know, I don't mind like bitterness. I don't mind sourness. I don't mind any of those things. I don't, you know, I like very, very strong flavored things. So that's why I like this type of Scotch, I think.
So if you like that, what do you go for sushi? Because when I started out with sushi, I was like, when I first had it, and I was like, I don't know, 7 years ago, I was like, I ate like a roll, and I was like, this is disgusting. Why do poker players like this shit? But now I love sushi. So like, if you don't have sushi, guys, by the way, you should try it. If you don't like sushi, get sashimi. Sashimi's fucking awesome. But what's your, like, how do you approach sushi, since you're probably like more pro and less noob on sushi as well?
Yeah, I'm a huge sushi fan. We can also, I was just in Japan actually. So.
Oh yeah, you and who are you with, Dan?
Dan, yeah, I was with my fiance, Dan Smith, Scott Seaver, Sam Greenwood, Justin Bonomo, and Vanessa Selps was there for a little bit. She was like there for part of the trip. And if I'm forgetting somebody, that would be really awful because we spent like all day, every day with them. And let me just double and triple check that I'm not forgetting anyone, because that'd be really embarrassing. These are all like my good friends. No, I think that was it. Yeah, so we were in Japan. We ate a lot of sushi. But to your original question, my favorite type of sushi is uni. It's the roe. It's sea urchin roe. You know, look it up. It's yellow, orangish yellow. It is certainly not for like the sushi noob. It is not the easiest first taste. So like I like that a lot. I like some of my other favorite pieces are like mackerel, which is also very fishy, very, very oily sort of taste. Yeah, those are. I mean, any type of tuna. Like chutara is probably my favorite type of tuna, like the medium fatty tuna. Yeah, I mean, but I love everything. Like, there's no type of sushi I don't like. I'll eat it all for sure.
Why do poker players like sushi so much? It seems like every poker player I know, like once you're at low stakes, you don't like sushi, but as soon as you get to the high stakes, you love sushi.
It's an interesting question. I've noticed it too. I don't know what it is, personality type that happens to match up with a certain type of affinity for certain foods. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely true that sushi players or poker players love sushi. And I mean, my friends and I, when we went to Japan, like, yeah, we were going to see like the cool country and all that. but like the primary reason for the visit was food. You know, it was like to go eat sushi and go eat ramen and go eat steak and, you know, go get kaiseki and all these other like types of food. And it was just, it was basically like a food trip, and it was awesome.
So you're saying the food there very, very good.
It was incredible. I was expecting it to be amazing, and it still like exceeded my expectations. Yeah, have you ever seen Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
I have not, but I did read some of the stuff that you and Dan were saying on like Facebook and Twitter. So I kind of like started looking it up a bit more from there.
We went there. We got reservations, which was very difficult. We got reservations there, and we went there, and that wasn't even the best sushi we had on the trip. And it was incredible. It was unbelievably good, but it wasn't even the best sushi we had. We went to another place that was even better.
So what makes the sushi, like what makes best sushi you've ever, like what's like how do you like figure that out? How do you like put, you know what I mean? Like, because to me, it seems like a lot of stuff tastes pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on like almost every specific type of fish has like a different, definition of perfection, I guess, what you would consider perfect for that fish. But first of all, there were multiple things that we noticed like right away that were like just better than anything we've had in North America, even like the best places we've been to in North America. One thing, and it was a lot of stuff was like the simple, like really simple things that you wouldn't think of. One was the wasabi was so unbelievably good in Japan. Like you wouldn't even think about the wasabi, but like sometimes even when you go to like the best places in North America, and it's good, you get like a little bit like too much wasabi and it burns a little bit, or it makes it look a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know. It seems like they're very frequently like a little bit sloppy with the wasabi, like they put a little bit too much or a little bit too little sometimes on piece. At Sukibashi Jiro and Sushi Yoshitaki, the two best places we went to, the wasabi was like 100% perfect every time. You got like a good, and it was different. It tasted different too, because it was, I mean, some places in the U.S. do it, but not too many. Where they make the fresh wasabi. Most in North America, when you go to even nice sushi places, a lot of the time you're not actually getting real wasabi. You're getting horseradish with green food coloring. Wasabi is like this brute vegetable that what they do is they grind it up against a shark fin. They grind it on shark fin and they make fresh wasabi, and then they put it on the sushi for you, and they also they brush it with soy sauce. So there's you don't touch soy sauce or wasabi ever. Like you're not doing that. They've already done it for you, so it's perfectly seasoned already. And I haven't even begun to talk about the fish or the rice yet. You know, I'm just telling you about the wasabi and the soy sauce. That's already perfect. Okay.
No soy sauce?
No, they put soy sauce on it for you, but you don't like. They put the perfect amount of soy sauce on it. They brush it with soy sauce, and it already has wasabi under the. There's usually wasabi under the fish that helps it stick to the rice, and you don't touch the. There's no like dish for soy sauce. They don't even give you one. Okay, that's not part of it. And so that's just okay. So just the wasabi and the soy sauce is already like, it's just much better than most of what you get in North America. And then the rice is just like ridiculously perfect. It's just so good. It's just like you never taste a single like bite of like overcooked or undercooked rice. It's perfectly seasoned. It tastes delicious. Like you could just eat a whole bowl of that sushi rice and it would be like delicious, wonderful meal. Okay. And then on top of it, you have like the freshest, or not necessarily freshest, because some sushi is actually aged, but it's just the most perfect tasting fish that's cut perfectly. Like, the way they cut the fish has a lot to do with how tender it is and how it whether it's going to melt in your mouth or whether it's going to be like chewy, and the preparation is just perfect. And sometimes it's marinated, and it's marinated for for flavor and to make it tender. Other stuff that they do is like with squid. A lot of places in North America with squid, the squid is like really tough and it's not that flavorful. Both the really good places we went to, they chopped up the squid like right in front of you into this like almost like tartare texture, and then it was just laid out on the rice, and it was just like mind-blowingly good, like the best squid I've ever had by far. The uni, the sea urchin roe, was just like so unbelievably flavorful. And just a lot of what people complain about uni is that it's it's almost it almost has like a metallic taste. It's very like coppery. I've heard some people say about that, or like, but this was just like, it just tasted like the ocean, but like minus like the ocean, but without any of like the salty sort of like sour nastiness to it. It was just like, it was just like everything, like when you wake up in like, and you smell the ocean, it was fucking just incredible. I mean, everything was unbelievable. I'm so jealous of anyone who lives in Japan and just gets to eat like that all the time.
If you guys are out there right now and you do something for a living, or you do something you enjoy, if you don't talk about it like that to somebody else, you don't like it. You need to go rewind this, go back. I think we're about 46 minutes right now. Remember this timestamp. When you speak to somebody about what you do or what you're passionate about, you speak like that, like Dani just spoke. That's how you talk about something, man. God, I'm ready to go to fucking Japan. I'm ready to board the goddamn plane right out of Japan, man. I'm ready to eat.
Hey, and I haven't even started talking about the ramen. I mean, it's just as good, but on a totally different, spectrum.
King Killer says this guy knows his sushi more than 99% of Asian people do. Sushi GTO. That's so true. Aaron says, I want my bankroll to able me to be a sushi connoisseur. I don't think sushi is that expensive. I guess maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't. We did like a few really expensive meals. Like both the sushi places I'm talking about, the two that like really stood out, were quite expensive. They were like $300 a head. But even like when we went to we went to one like really casual sushi place that was like, $60 or $70 a head maybe, and it was still really good. Like it was like, it wasn't like fly halfway across the world good, but it was really good. It was delicious. It was like very, very, very good.
I think that's what you find is that you get like, it seems like there's sushi for all ends of the spectrum. There's the store sushi. There's like a cheaper Chinese plate. Like there's all these like levels of sushi, it feels like, and you can kind of like, and nothing's really super expensive like the Kobe beef steaks or like those type of things. But a lot of people say like when I go out with them, like, hey, why don't you try sushi? They're like, oh, if I don't like it, I'm like, listen, just try it. It's not bad. Like it's pretty good once you try it.
And starting out with just like rolls, like a spicy tuna roll or a shrimp tempura roll or something like that. I mean, most like Japanese people probably say that's not even sushi, but like if you just have that, like those are pretty they're really easy things to like. It's not an offensive taste. It's not that different from like Western food, like the flavors that you're experiencing, and nor is the texture that crazy. It's just rice and protein, which is a pretty standard thing in Western cuisine, having a starch and a protein, something like that. So just that starting point is the way you think about it is actually not that different. Then once you start getting into like a little bit more serious things like nigiri and sashimi, especially like the weirder fish, like even like a piece of salmon sashimi or nigiri is pretty gentle on the palate. It's not that like offensive of a taste, Even somebody who's like never had that before, I could see them liking it. If like a piece of, it depends on the quality, but if it's really tender, there's nothing about that would be to me like offensive to somebody who's never had that type of food before. So I don't know, just to me, like my attitude with food, I've always been very adventurous. I want to try everything, I don't, I never get afraid of food. I don't think anything, like to me, it's just, food is like, it's like music or art, and it's just like a different type of thing to experience, just of the taste variety instead of, sound or visual or whatever. I mean, except it is also visual and sound and smell. But I've always been very adventurous and like a very curious eater. And so exploring like the world of sushi was just like really cool, because one of the interesting things about sushi compared with like other cuisines is that sushi itself is just like one specific type of Japanese cuisine, but within it, there's this insane variety of flavors. Like every fish tastes so different and feels different in your mouth, and it's just like sometimes you get to taste a new fish and it's just like a totally different experience. And it's so interesting to me because I don't know, I mean, I spend plenty of time just like when I'm at home and just doing like my normal daily grind and trying to eat healthy, just eating like, chicken breast and carrots or whatever. That's fine. I'm fine eating for fuel also. But the opportunity to get to eat something really interesting and cool and just so different is just so exciting to me. I like love that idea.
Versace is a good point. He said, I think it is an experience just to eat with Donnie. Like, I'm ready to eat. I'm ready. Vegas this summer. I'm like dinner. Donnie, where are you going to dinner tonight, man? I want to learn about this food that we're eating tonight.
Yeah, I mean, food, like cooking and eating at restaurants too. All that is definitely my second passion. First is poker for sure. Poker. I've dedicated my whole life to poker, but as a backup, yeah, cooking is definitely up there.
Have you been to Blue Water Cafe, which is in Yaletown? Probably.
I haven't. I've heard multiple people have suggested to me. I've heard it's really good.
That's my favorite place to eat.
So it's a seafood restaurant.
It's top 2 favorite place to eat in the world. Although when I used to go there, like literally at every restaurant I've been to, that's one of my favorite places. But I used to always get the tenderloin there. Don't ask why. I mean, I know it's a seafood place, but the tenderloin there is so. I used to go get a carryout. I go in there in sweatpants and wait at the bar and hang out and talk to people and wait for a carryout steak and then walk back home to eat it. It was so good, man. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous you get to enjoy that food.
Yeah, well, hey, you can enjoy it too. Everything's a flight away, right?
Speaking of flight away, Scoop's coming up, right?
Yeah. Very excited.
Very excited. Are you? What do you? I think I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't. Well, I still have a Supernova Elite tournament main event ticket. I haven't cashed in. That was from 2000. I don't remember. Some year I got Supernova Elite. I got a ticket. I still haven't used it. Maybe I'll use it for Scoop.
You have to use it. This is your last to do it. Because they canceled it last year. They sent out an email to the Supernova Elites that you have to use it now.
Oh shit. Oh well, we got W Coop too. If I don't go Scoop, what are you excited about Scoop? You got obviously during Scoop we get a lot of cash games. We get a lot of tournament guys hopping in the Zoom. We get a lot of people like playing online more, so they're playing Zoom too. So I expect cash games to pick up. I expect some fun. I think hopefully.
Yeah, I mean last year Zoom was crazy during Scoop. There were like 50-person pools of like 25-50 running, which is just insane. So I'm hoping it's like that. Honestly, it's been a little bit dead lately, which is a little bit disappointing. I get kind of nervous when there's just like a week of no 25-50. It makes me a little bit scared. Like, oh God, what is this? Is this just like how it's going to be now? But I think it'll be good during Scoop. I assume it'll pick up because there's a lot of guys who are like, pros, but not like, not regulars, and they'll be popping in. That'll generate some action, and there's all sorts of fun players who, they're playing like the 1K no limit 5-card draw tournament, and they're bored, so they throw an entry into 25-50 Zoom. Like that happens all the time, where they sit and play heads up or whatever, like that. That sort of stuff. That's always good for action. So I'm hoping it'll be a big month. I mean, my general plan during Scoop month, May, is basically wake up at like 9 a.m., play poker for like 14 hours and go to sleep. That's like I'm just going to be playing nonstop that whole month. Like I'll maybe take a day off when there's no good tournament going on or something.
Yeah, man. I think someone on Twitter, my friend Zach, friend of the podcast, he said that I always see Supernova 9 playing. I always see him online. And I think that speaks to what it takes to almost, still be successful in this day and age, is that you need to have that ability to just like put in those hours when the times are good and make the money.
Yeah. Part of my attitude now is, I mean, certainly, like if you asked me like 3 years ago what my biggest problem in poker was, I would say I'm lazy and I don't put in enough volume. Some sort of switch flipped in me. It was actually right around, I mean, it started to change right around Black Friday. I started to get a little bit better about it, but it really changed when Stephanie and I moved down to Mexico, and I kind of was just like, I didn't have that many friends there, and I was just like, I don't have anything to do here except play poker, hang out with Stephanie and maybe work out, and that's it pretty much. Like, there's no distractions. Like, I've become really motivated since then. And nowadays, like you said, part of it is because since high stakes doesn't run all the time, I feel like when it is running, I have to play. And it's not that I'm forcing myself to play; it's that I'm inspired to play when I'm playing. There's a difference. Like, I'm not seeing games running. I'm like, like go. You have to do it. Like, you have to play. No, it's not like that. It's like I'm like excited at the fact that I get to play. That's really what it is. So, like, I'll wake up sometimes and I'll be very groggy and like slow to start the day, and then I see, oh shit, Zoom is running, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, yeah, let's go. Like, get my coffee. Come on. Like, hurry up. Like, I get to play now. Because, it's just like, it sucks when you don't get to play when you want to play. So then when you have the opportunity, even if you're not ready sometimes, you really get like, I feel like I'm being like pushed into it, and I'm like, okay, like I'm here, I'm ready.
How do you find the game quality these days? It seems like I haven't really been looking at the lobby too much this past like maybe 2 months, but every time it does, it seems like it's not the easiest games for sure. It's a few tech. You got Johan, Barry, Hollywood, Vroom. You got a bunch of guys that got some good results in the games.
Yeah, I don't think 2550 is soft or anything like that. But I've put in a ton of hands, and I'm winning in the games, or at least in all EV I'm winning, and I'm confident in my win rate in games I'm playing in. I don't go crazy battling in 6-max games. I'll battle players that I'm not sure if I'm better than, heads up. But I won't really like I'll play sometimes like 4 or 5 handed to start a game with some really tough players. I'm happy to do that, but I don't go overboard with that. I don't play like I certainly don't play like really high stakes unless there's somebody fun in the game. I don't think the games are like soft. Like, I don't think like, yeah, everybody should hop into 2550. The water's nice. It's like, 2550 Zoom is the toughest PLO game in the world. Like, by definition, it has to be, really. There's certainly no live games that are anywhere close. And online, it's definitely tougher than any nosebleed game that runs sometimes, like when 25 or when 100, 200, 200, 400 occasionally runs. There's always like a big whale in those games, and there's only 5 other players. Zoom, by definition, the way it works is much tougher because you have one guy who's not a pro, and then there's like 12 pros that are surrounding, and obviously not all those pros are winning. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those games are, they're tough, but I'm confident, and I've done tons of work in the last like 2 years, and especially the last like year, and I'm happy to get the opportunity to play 2550, even if the games are sometimes tough. And I feel good about where I'm at in PLO, but I'm not resting, I should say. I'm still hungry, and I want to get better, and I want to get better like as fast as possible. So I'm, it's obviously not like it was. I know that, but I may have talked about this in the last podcast, but part of what made me much more motivated in the last like couple of years was that, a lot of poker players love to play the time machine game. I don't know if you know about the time machine game. Where it always, people are always like, oh, if I could go back to, Party Poker 1020, no limit in 2005, I would have made so much money. And then people are like, oh man, if I could play in those UB 2550 games against Prolad, like I would have just crushed, and then people like some of the new school guys are like, oh, those guys back in the day, they were so bad. Like, if I could only have gotten to poker sooner. And the thing is that I realized after a while is that time machine never stops. People are always wanting to go back to like 2 years before, right? It's not like people are like now, like, people still are like, oh, if I could go back to 2012, I would crush. Like, they think that because they would. It's true. The game is constantly progressing. But if that time machine game never stops, then why don't you just do it now? You know, like you can always do it now. And yeah, it's really tough, and it's much tougher than it used to be. But it's not going to get any easier. So if you're going to put in any time, it's now. If you're not going to put in the time now, then you may as well not put in the time, because it's just going to get harder. So that was kind of like what my attitude became was, look, I've wasted a ton of time in poker. I had the ability to win at really high stakes games for a while and wasted it by, you know, playing video games and hanging out with friends and just doing a bunch of nonsense. But you can get back to that ability now if you work hard and take the opportunity, because it's here. And I'm just happy I'm very happy that I'm going to at least have the opportunity to play for, I don't know how long, but right now I can. So I'm just happy to have the opportunity.
What do you think about the idea of sometimes you want to enjoy yourself, you want to have fun, you want to hang out with friends, you want to play video games? I think that's what a lot of people say when I tell them something like this too, is like, well, what about like not always focusing on money or focusing on hope, you know, not focusing on always playing and trying to, you know, do that, like, but instead do these other things to have fun. Fun, I guess what they say is fun.
There's obviously, you need a balance. There's no question about that. Of course you need a balance, and you know, it's a little different for me because I'm getting married, and like, you know, I'm not, obviously, like when you're single, that occupies a big part of your life is going out and chasing girls and stuff, or chasing men. If there are any women listening to this podcast, I don't know if there are.
3.5% of my audience is women, so at least we got.
That's like, not bad. That's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, it's more than I would have guessed too.
So that, you know, that's obviously, that takes away some of the time you spend. Yeah, of course you need a balance. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm not trying to sound preachy. I don't like preachiness. I'm not saying that everybody should do this. I'm just saying from my perspective, what changed in me, what made me realize that I could do better than I was doing. That's what it was for me. I wouldn't say to somebody else, like, you know, stop playing video games, you lazy slob. Like, that's not, if they want to do that, that's up to them. You know, that's everybody. It's everybody's personal choice to do whatever they want. Yeah, balance is obviously good, but sometimes the best balance is not the most comfortable one. Like, you don't have to be comfortable all the time. People in our position who play online or who play poker for a living, you have many opportunities to be comfortable, because you don't have a boss and you don't have hours, so you can do whatever you want. That doesn't mean you should always do it, though. Sometimes you have to put yourself in difficult situations because it's better for you. And, you know, I don't think when I look back on my years in my 20s and 30s when I was playing online poker for a living and traveling around the world to play live poker tournaments, you know, I don't think I'm going to say, damn, you know, I never really played enough Xbox in those days. You know, the burnout is definitely a thing, and I spent probably too much time playing last year when I didn't need to. In certain games, like I definitely was stretching myself thin at certain times, and I was playing too many tables for a while. So burnout is for sure a thing, and I think it should be avoided. But you know, I suspect a lot of people strike that balance in a zone that's just a little bit too comfortable.
I think I lagged there a little bit, but my main exposure to video games was that made me realize the video game thing is that when I was living in San Diego, my first roommate, I would always be grinding like 14 hours a day. He would be playing video games like 6 hours a day and playing poker 5 hours a day. And I was like, what are you, you know, I was like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you like, you have to move back home and like move back to the country in Indiana. And like, that's actually what happened, you know, here, like, and that kind of just showed me like, you can't, I mean, I don't know. I liked playing video games before that, but I really haven't played any video games since then, because I realized that if you start like, I don't know, man, it really scared me from playing video games and trying to be successful at poker. So I don't know. I guess
you know, what's one thing that's scary to me about video games? And I'm not saying I don't play video games. I play video games sometimes. You know, and I take breaks. One scary thing though about video games to me is I find that it in many ways sort of occupies the same part of my brain that poker does. That's sort of like competitive gamesmanship, sort of like, since it fills sort of the same void, I feel like it takes away from my poker stamina, whatever you want to call it, in some ways, where it's like almost like, it's not like I'm doing the same thing, but it's similar enough. Like when I play like a really long session of poker and I'm like kind of like zonked out and I like need to like take a break and step away from the computer, I find that I really don't want to play video games in that situation, because it's almost like the same thing. It's like I want to get away from my computer. I want to like go for a walk or something, you know? So the reason that I say it kind of scares me is that it's like, it's almost like, it's not just a waste because you're not playing poker. It's like an extra waste because it's like the same, you could be doing poker at the same time. Like it would be the same thing to be playing poker. But I'm also lucky that I really love playing poker, and I still love playing poker. If somebody doesn't like playing poker, it's really hard to motivate yourself to do it.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
Sure.
Like, it's not hard. Like I don't struggle at playing 10 hours in a day sometimes. If games are running, like if I wake up and the games are running and they're just running all day, I'll play all day and I'll be fine. Like I won't be like struggling to stay awake or like struggling to stay focused. Like I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time. I can understand when people don't like playing poker, that's really hard to do. And you know, it's, you know, I don't have a solution. It's just, it's nice for me that it's enough of my life it's that big part of my life and I still enjoy it.
I think that kind of goes back to the idea of people like kind of being upset about poker and complaining about it, is that it's a lot more fun to play poker and enjoyable when you're winning at poker. When you have to start putting in more work at the game and you're not winning as much, you're winning half as much, you're not winning at all of a sudden poker's not all of a sudden you're like, I don't like playing poker anymore. But I definitely think that when you're, you know, winning kind of makes playing poker in year 7 easier of a thing to do and makes it more enjoyable to do.
And it's kind of like I was saying about the video game thing. You know, one of the things that excites me about poker is beating my opponents. That's like cool. Like I like outplaying my opponents in a hand, or like seeing my opponent play a hand badly and I have like the thought, well, I would never play a hand that badly because I know about this concept. And that excites me. It gets me, I get like a buzz out of that or whatever. And it's like the same thing in like Call of Duty. When like you see somebody and you kill them before they kill you, you're like, oh, you know, I won. Like I killed you. I'm better than you. You know, that's sort of attitude. And that's part of what I think a lot of poker players get out of poker. You know, it's a battle of wits, and outwitting somebody is entertaining. It's fun. It's why a lot of us play poker. It's because we have that sort of competitive attitude with playing games. Can I excuse myself one moment?
Yeah, I'll let you go. I actually have to go pour myself another drink, and I have to go to the bathroom as well.
I gotta go to the bathroom, and I gotta get a glass of water.
All right,
my mouth is getting dry because I'm talking way too fast.
It's all good, man. You're talking some great shit, man. You're talking some good stuff.
Okay, be right back.
All right, get some shout outs, boys. Let's get to it. Zach Everson been contributing some great comments today. Shout out to Zach. Nick Branch. Lag. Who do we got? Rems, what's up? My boy Rems. Chocolate with cream. I never seen you, but what's up? Goat C. Obama. What's up, buddy? Is that Fiending? Fiending. I don't recognize Johnny Hatter. What's up, Johnny? Luke McCullough says, I finally catch another one. My boy Danny. What's up, Danny? Who we got? Stop lagging. Tebeskev? Soran Tebeskev? I think I said that right. I know I saw Warm Deck in here. Bo Van Lennon. What's up, Bo? My boy Bruno was in the house earlier. Let's see. King Killer. Aaron Sanders. What's up, Aaron? Let's see. Dan Fu. DC. What's up, DC? Chris Perkins. Did I decide to quit Twitch? Yes. Stuart Brody. What's up, Stu? What up, Puppy? Faden, what's up, Puppy? Brendan D. Matt Campbell. Ben Helstrup. Steve O'Dwyer. What's up, Steve? Nathaniel Shepley, what's up, puppy? I'm trying to hit everybody in this chat. I'm hitting everybody. Fuck it. Let's go. Barry D. Versace. What's up, Versace?
All right, I'm back.
I think he's lagging. Almost done with the shout outs. Denzel S. I nailed everybody in the chat up to that point. Bam. Bam. Bad beat 831. Fuck you, bad beat 831. Tried ruining my play chip prop bet years ago, a long time ago, man. That motherfucker. Sean Daniels says I have a buzz going already. I don't know, man. I literally might actually have a little buzz going. I poured a lot of goddamn whiskey in this thing. Why am I so brown?
I just opened this bottle, so down right there. Not bad.
Fuck's sakes, dude. All right, you. I'm gonna give you a question, and then you answer it.
Is this like the lightning round?
No. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and because I don't want to use the pee bottle on the.
Okay. You want me to pretend that you're there and?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a question from the chat in reference to scrambled eggs.
Okay, a culinary question.
All right, I know you'd like this one. Nick Branch asks, Ansky, scrambled eggs GTO, please. I've run simulations, and I believed blanched broccoli chips, gently fried in butter, then add egg mixture is optimal. Your thoughts, please.
Blanched broccoli chips, is that what you said?
I believe blanched broccoli tips, gently fried in butter, then add egg mixture is optimal.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine if you like your omelet with, or I guess it's scrambled eggs. So you like your scrambled eggs with broccoli. That's cool. Yeah, that's fine. I like my scrambled eggs a little bit more runny, a little bit like soft. There's a really good video of Gordon Ramsay making scrambled eggs on YouTube. You can find it. It's like has a ton of hits. That's like kind of how I like to. I don't really cook scrambled eggs that much, but if I had to, that would be like how I would cook it. In general, with butter, that's a good idea. I think eggs and butter are like really good together. You don't want to. I wouldn't use olive oil or any other cooking oil with eggs. I might use coconut oil, but butter is definitely really good with eggs. I don't know about the broccoli tips, but yeah, in general, cooking broccoli, the best way to do it is like you said, blanching them and then sauteing them in butter until they're soft. I think that's the best way to do it.
GTO. Dude, I said GTO last weekend at Coachella probably 875 times. I got to be honest with you, man.
I don't really use it that much in daily life.
The thing is, you don't want to, because everything turns into a GTO discussion. Everything.
Oh yeah.
You go to the store, you're like, oh, I think this kind of milk would be GTO right now. Well, I put a lot in there. Whoops. Oh shit. Yeah. Guys, please don't use GTO in your regular normal lives like I do. It becomes an obsession, and then it starts to take over your life.
And then you can't talk to regular people because they don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the question I got a lot. Was like, what do you think about what's GTO mean? I'm like, dude, GTO means GTO. And then I got to put more Coke in this. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, man, this whiskey's pretty good. I think I'm done with the vodka combinations. I think I'm down with the whiskey.
A little bit less healthy, the colored alcohols. So, yeah, like a vodka soda is as far as drinking goes, like not too bad. But,
so whiskey's not healthy for you? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it's definitely not healthy.
Oh shit, Laforte's not going to approve of this drink.
The one time I went to, I don't know one time, but one time when I was living in Toronto, I went to Laforte's place for like a little party. I think he was drinking. I think he was drinking vodka with Gatorade.
Fucking Lafort.
Okay. Vodka and water, but I think it was vodka and Gatorade.
Did he have to go to the bathroom about 750 times while you were there?
I didn't really monitor his bathroom, movements, but probably.
Did he eat like 15 times? Like, did you just see him eating constantly? Like you looked over.
I didn't see that either, but there may have been some snacks out. Maybe like, just like chunks of meat that you could eat.
Sounds like Lafort. We're actually going to have Lafort on a podcast sometime soon. And also someone in the chat said about 2 months, 2 million. What happened to the other guys? We're going to have Krantz on a podcast.
Oh, great.
Hopefully next week. So that could be.
Krantz is great. Very interesting guy.
I'm excited to have him on after Foxwood Fiends came on. By the way, thank you for, because someone suggested to me, I believe it was you the first time, and then on Skype, you were like, hey, when are you going to get Ariel on? I was like, all right, let's get him on. And he was,
Ariel.
What?
Ariel.
Yeah, Ariel.
Ariel is the Little Mermaid.
I was going to say that Ariel is the mermaid. Ariel is Ariel, Foxwood Fiend. But Foxwood Fiend was fucking awesome. He told some great story. I can see why he's done pretty well for things. I definitely can see.
Yeah. He's a super interesting guy, and he's, like I said on Twitter, he's one of my oldest friends in poker. He was like very much like a mentor to me early in my life, or early in my poker life. And I love Ariel. He's a great guy, and he's super smart, and he's no question that he's doing something awesome with his life right now. And I thought he was great on the podcast. I thought he was really interesting. It was my favorite podcast that I watched.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of didn't know, forgot about who he was, or maybe didn't hear much about him. But after they watched that, they're like, "Fuck, man, okay, this guy, yeah, he's man, yeah." I'm excited. I'm going to go to New York City in July actually, and I'm gonna try to meet up with him when I'm in New York City for at least a day, just to get some of the aura in person.
Yeah, he's great. You should. People might not know this, but he was actually the original fourth cast member on 2 Months to Million, and I replaced him.
No.
It was the original pilot, which I've seen. Not many people have seen it. I think it's just sitting in a cupboard somewhere. The original pilot, which was filmed in 2007, that never aired, was Brian, Emil, Jay, and Ariel, not me. And they basically, the original, even before the pilot, they had some random footage of the guys in their house in Vegas in 2007, I guess. It was their house in 2007. They had some footage, and they submitted it to a bunch of different networks, and G4 saw it and basically was like, all right, make a pilot. Here's $100,000 to go make a pilot. And they went out, they rented a house in Vegas, not like our house that we did in 2 Months, it was a much more humble house. And they did it was one episode of 2 Months to Million, but back then it was just called House of Cards. And there was no challenge, there was no goal. So it was just it was a little bit more documentary style. I think it was better, honestly. It was really good. And I think Ariel's probably more interesting than me, so that was cool too. And then they made that pilot, and then they submitted that pilot to G4, basically okay, here it is. And this is how it works in the TV industry, I guess. So they submitted that pilot, and then G4 basically said, all right, it's good. Here's $1 million, make 10 episodes. And then right as they got approval, Ariel was like, all right, hold on. I don't want to do the show. I'm not in. And it was at first a big fucking blow up. I think Jay vowed that he would never talk to Ariel again.
What?
Yeah, they're friends now. It's cool. But and it was a huge fucking blow up, and they basically told the network Ariel is out, and the network was like, that's fucked up because he's our favorite guy. We love him. He needs to be on the show. You need to find a replacement for him. And I was really good friends with all of them at the time. I was in that circle of friends. So they asked me to do it if I would do it, and I said sure. But the network is okay, we need to see this Dani kid. We need to see him in action. You need to send us some footage of him. There's no footage of me, right? I'm 21 years old at the time. So Jay and Emil, and this is in fall of 2008. This is after my first summer in Vegas. We're living in New York, all of us, except for Brian. Brian was living in Texas. And Jay and Emil were roommates at the time, and they had a party at their apartment in New York. And I show up to the party just to go party, just to have a good time. And the producers of the eventual producers of 2 Months to Million, at this point, they were just random film guys or whatever that I knew Jay was friends with, are there. And they're like, hey, Dani, and they have their cameras and sound gear and stuff. We're going to put a sound pack on you, and we're going to film you at this party. I'm like, what? Why? What the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, well, G4 doesn't know you, and if they're gonna go forward with 2 months or with House of Cards, as it was called at the time, they're gonna go forward with House of Cards. Yeah, we had that name before Kevin Spacey. Anyway, like if we're gonna go forward with House of Cards, they need to see you. And I was so fucking nervous. I was so unprepared for it that I just got wasted because I was so scared and just nervous about it. I just got really drunk, and I just kind of like acted like a dumb like frat boy kind of. That was like kind of that was like the show I put on, which is really weird. Not me. Certainly not me anymore. And I guess I kind of acted like a buffoon, and they didn't like me. They were like, find us more guys. Like, we want more options.
Wow.
And so the other 2 options, this is pretty interesting. The other 2 options, one was Martin, Magic Ninja.
Oh, wow. That would have been pretty.
That's tough competition, right? Like, another guy more interesting than me. And the thing is, like, he may have been more interesting than me, but he wasn't as close with Jay and Emil and Brian. So I think he didn't have quite the same like rapport with them.
Right.
And the other guy, this is pretty interesting. The other guy was Sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is before Sauce was playing. Was he playing Uber High at that time, or was he like more like 5, 10, 10?
I don't remember exactly at the time, but Sauce went through like Sauce had his career was like shoot up to the top, go on a little bit of downswing, quit poker. Then it was like come back, shoot up to the top again. Now he's up here. So I don't know what part of his career this was in. It might have been in between. It might have been on the way down, on the way up in the first one. I don't remember exactly. Wow. And so they filmed a bunch of stuff with Martin and Sauce, and they're like, okay, we want to do more with you because you didn't do a good job in the last one. Let's do another one. And this time the second time I went clothing shopping with Brian. We went to Barney's. We went to Barney's and I went clothing shopping, and it was actually much better because it was just like me being myself and just like I was more relaxed. Actually, at this point, I was like, I'm drawing dead. Like, if they liked me, they would have taken me already. So I have no chance or whatever. I was like very relaxed. And I assumed that they were definitely just going to take Martin, you know, crazy Australian rock star, like clearly. But they said they offered it to me, and they said they want Martin as like the side character. They want him like the crazy neighbor. Like that's like what they wanted out of Martin. And there were actually Martin came over and filmed a bunch of scenes at the house, but they all got cut and they never made the final product. So yeah, that's how I replaced Ariel. And it would be great if that original pilot could get out, but I guess it's gone forever. It was a bug.
And that you and Jungle Man on the bug over there. You went. That's something like
Jungle Man is this. It's the.
I feel like Jungle Man would be making a point, just like slap something out of nowhere, and then like sorry, and then Jungle Man come back to his point. I gotta ask Magic Ninja. If I had Magic Ninja on a pod before, I gotta ask him about this. This 2 months 2 million experience for him.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a competitive thing. It wasn't like, damn you, like Martin, like trying to take my spot. It was like, none of us like, remember, like nothing had even aired yet. It was still like up in the air. It was like it was just very very casual, like just filmed some stuff and and then and then later that was like probably like I said, like winter, like fall or winter, right before that summer. Was some summer we did 2 months 2 million.
I gotta give a shout out to my boy Adrian Phoenix in the chat. He says one of the most fun streamers on Twitch. He's been known to pour his piss bottle over his top of his head.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, he says it's water. It looks like a piss bottle to me. I don't understand why you'd have like a jug of water next to you and pour it on your head. It makes absolutely no sense at all unless it's piss and you're into that kind of weird shit. But he says, Ansky, do you remember making this post? It says, I just wanted to say that as someone who has experienced the differences at the higher levels, that this post is extremely important. AJ knows his shit, and we should all keep an open air. Prefaced by, I'm very drunk. I don't know. He says he's alleging you made a post that claims that AJ knows his shit.
I don't. What was it in reference to? That's just kind of like a reply, but I don't know what the point was.
I don't know. I think AJ made a post on 2+2, and then.
I mean, I certainly know him by his 2+2 name. I've seen it around for years, obviously.
Yeah, AJ. What was the post? What's the post in reference to?
That's kind of like out of context, so I don't know what it was.
Yo, shout out to AJ either way, man. Pouring the piss bottle on his head, poning it up on the Pokerstars. He's the Twitch. I don't even know what hell he is on the Twitch catch game. I'm not sure where I'm trying to stay with that, but Barry D says, Danny, do you still have the alligator leather 2K? Donnie, fuck, man. It's just so I don't understand. Like,
do I still have the shoes? Yes, I don't have them on me, but they're sitting in a closet in my old house in Toronto. Yeah, I'm not too proud of those. People, I'm not proud of them because that's like an outrageous purchase I would never make anymore. And I just kind of did it because I was like on TV and whatever, and felt kind of pressured to do something weird and crazy. But I guess it was kind of like a success because everybody always asks me about that. That's like when they people talk about Sean Smith. That's like one of the first questions they ask.
About the shoes?
Yeah, they always ask about the shoes.
Were there did they bring girls over to this place, and they how was the women's situation back then?
They didn't ever bring girls over. There was just this kind of thing that happened though when we would film scenes at clubs or bars where partially girls would just gravitate because there were cameras, and it's Vegas and that's just how it is. And partially, I don't know if they I don't know exactly what the producers did. We were never involved in any of this, the four of us, but the producers definitely did some sort of promotion, to indicate to people that there would be a reality show filming at a place, and there would always be more people than there normally would be, because we never would go we wouldn't go to Excess on a Friday night. That's a place that's already insane. We would never do that. Mm-hmm. It was always we'd go to Ghost Bar on a Tuesday night, which normally would be dead. Right. But we'd go and it would be packed because they did a bunch of extra promotion that night would be big or something like that would kind of happen. They didn't ever they never imported girls for us. Not to my knowledge, at least. But there were always girls at those bars and clubs for sure.
I wonder if some GTO would be walking around Vegas being filmed by someone that and then you pretend you're on some sort of television show and you're oh, we're having this party at my house, and then you guys invite them. I mean, that's just thinking outside the box here. Maybe Raptor can try it out. I think Raptor's married technically. Maybe Jason Kuhn can try this out over the summer with their Vegas house, and he can maybe see if this could work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would get you attention at the very least, which is half the battle, right? Just getting noticed.
I guess that's pretty true. I know you're married now. Obviously, you don't think about things like this. We're not gonna talk about anything like you're married now. You're a married man, my friend. We don't talk about these things. Chris says, Ansky, do you remember your first 5-figure tournament score?
I don't remember what it was, but I do remember the first time I ever won 10K in a tournament. I do remember. I think it was the $11 rebuy on Stars, the 10 p.m. one or whatever that used to get. I don't know. I remember playing that in college, and I remember I don't know if I won or I came second or third or something. And then the next day I took out all my college friends, took them all out to dinner to some Greek restaurant in Montreal. Do you remember that?
Kind of the you're guys, come on, you do that still now? You still taking people out to dinner or what? Got over that or what?
No, I don't have anything against that. It's just, I mean, I win or lose $40,000 every day. It's just it's not as interesting anymore.
Yeah, can't keep taking them out to dinner. I've noticed. It's certainly man, that topic on its own is an interesting discussion. But I want to talk about this 24-hour this new television thing that's coming out this summer, Global Poker TV. It's a 24/7. You've seen this 24/7 poker television.
Kuhn posted it on his Facebook, and I just checked it out very briefly, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I've read a bit about it. They're having something called a super high roller bowl at the Aria during July 2nd to 4th, a $500,000 buy-in with some, I don't know what they said the price might be 18, a bunch of millions of dollars. I'm going to have hold on. I'm going to have Adam Altweiss, who I think that's how you say his last name. I'm not sure. He's in charge. He's the Kim Jong of the Aria Poker Room. He's gonna be on a podcast, I think next week or the week after that. We'll talk more about that. But are you gonna play in that $500,000 buy-in? It seems I don't know. I've heard there's gonna be a decent number of fun players, as fun as they get for a $500,000 buy-in.
I'm probably not going to play it. I'm not going to rule it out. Maybe if I go on like a big heater before then, I would consider it. It's just so much money to raise, and like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I could do it if it is going to be as soft as advertised. I'm pretty sure I could find people to take pieces. But like, it's really cool. But the allure of playing, like, I get way more excited to play like a 25K where I have a much bigger piece of myself than playing like a 500K where I'd have like, 4% of myself or something. That's just not that exciting. So yeah, I mean, I might play. I'm not planning on it, and I haven't even begun like considering trying to raise money for it. But it's not impossible. But I say unless I like, maybe if I go on a big heater live tournaments, I would consider it. I mean, I'm on like the email list that Carrie sends out, so I get like the information about it. I'll make it closer to game time decision. It's pretty interesting how Poker World works. Like, I'll just raise 500.
Game time choice, boys. 500K buy-in. Think about it for maybe at last minute. I might play.
There's been many times where I've like decided to play 100K with like 2 days to spare, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna sell like 90K worth of action. Hey, you want any? Yeah, I'll take 50K. Or you want any? Yeah, I'll take 40K. All right, done.
Easy game. That's it. That's what it's like. Poker world is weird, man.
It's a crazy world. It's sometimes I forget about it when I'm dealing with those things, and then sometimes I'm like, that was pretty crazy that just happened.
Yeah, it's like when you if you talk to like regular people out there in the world, like if you're at a music festival and you're just talking about Poker World in general, you tell them something like that, they're like, "The fuck are you? What? What do you mean? The guy gave you $30,000 for what?"
Yeah. Actually, you know what I find is interesting is that when I talk to non-poker players about something like that, like raising money, like getting selling action, they find that really interesting because it sort of appeals to them on a level they can kind of understand. Where like you're raising, you're getting investors. It's like you're doing a startup or something. Like you have a profitable investment, that type of thing. So I think actually it's interesting how people oftentimes are very interested in that. And sometimes when I tell people about that, they're like, "Oh, really? Well, next time you're selling, why don't you give me a call?" Like guys who like, who don't know even like the rules of poker,
Really?
You don't really want to deal with this. Trust me. Like you're gonna lose like 90% of the time.
Might be some GTO out there for you guys out there that are looking to get up a stake, man. You got to just start reaching out to your random wealthy. I mean, I think some people do that. I saw one guy do that on Facebook once where he like got investments from people on his Facebook friends list for like a 10K tournament or something like that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it happens all the time, especially like amateur. It's like I remember I read Chris Moneymaker's book back when I was like in high school or college or whatever, and yeah, he qualified for the tournament the main event on Stars, and he didn't want to play because it was a $10,000 buy-in tournament, and he had like a few $1,000s to his name, so he sold half his action to his buddy at face, obviously.
Oh, and then he won it, right?
Yeah,
I think it was his dad. Was his dad he sold it to, or I think
it wasn't his dad. It was his friend. I remember. The only reason I remember this is because the guy's name was ridiculous. Chris Moneymaker sold half his action to his friend, who his name, I think his last name was Gamble. I don't remember what his first name was. It was like Nick or something. So it was like Chris Moneymaker sold half his action to Bob Gamble or whatever, and they won the main event. It's just like it was just like too perfect. Like how could you, like, if you wrote that in a fiction novel, people would be like, that's too unrealistic. Why would you make those names that?
Man, shout out to Chris Moneymaker, man. If you're out there, Chris Moneymaker, shout out to you. I saw you. I think he might be streaming on Twitch. Who's not streaming on Twitch? Daniel Negreanu's streaming on Twitch. Barry Greenstein, fucking. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's
David Ansky with his fucking parrot streaming on Twitch.
Yo, DS is a legend, dude. I wish DS was my father. I swear to God. Like, I wish my dad was David Sklancy and I could just talk to him. I just would listen to David Sklancy talk to me all. I've had him on 2 podcasts now. I could talk to him for goddamn hours, man. He's one of those fascinating older dudes I've ever met in my life, man.
He seems interesting. I don't really know much about him though.
You got to talk to him, man. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. It's like seriously having like a father who's like all of a sudden knows everything you're talking about. So it's pretty interesting. Bo says Joe Rogan was fascinated when Ike told him how selling action worked in poker.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. I saw that the Rogan podcast. Yeah, it's interesting to people because it's I mean, it's kind of crazy when you say like, oh, I'm playing $1 million tournament, like someone like Ike playing one drop, you know, and that's sort of like that's so out of this world to them. It's sort of crazy. But then you tell them that but I sell to investors and I have investors. Then it all of a sudden starts making more sense and is like a little bit more like real world kind of. Like there was more like reality to it.
I think the startup comparison you said was actually a way I've never thought about it, but I think that's kind of similar. It's like a Kickstarter. It's like in a way, it's like a Kickstarter. It's you're starting. You're getting investors for your thing. That's kind of this very similar.
Pretty sure that like 4 or 5 years ago or something like that, somebody went on Dragon's Den, which is like the Canadian Shark Tank, the TV show. And like try to get a stake for tournaments, which is obviously
I've seen that one before. It's like he was trying to get a stake he was trying to get a buy-in for a tournament, and it was pretty LOL for sure. Oh man, that's not a bad idea. Go on there for one drop and I would try that probably. Do you have a Hollywood Haxton impression, by the way? I can kind of give you my glasses over the computer if you'd like right now.
I mean, I wear glasses. I can go get my glasses, but I don't know. I don't think I'm pretty good friends with Ike. I don't think I should do an impression.
That's more of a reason to do an impression of Hollywood Haxton then. I think being friends with him is like you
put me on the spot. I need to. I'll do it later. I gotta relax a little. You made me tense. You know. Ike is like. I mean, he's my friend, but he's also like my hero in poker. You know, he's like he's. Yeah, I think he's like a super genius. So.
Yeah, Ike is.
Every time I get to talk poker with him, I feel like it's the most important thing I'm doing in the world, and I need to like, if I have a flight to catch, I need to like cancel it to continue the conversation.
Versace asked, "Do you have a Zygmunt impression?" Since you played some with Zygmunt the other day at the at Malta.
You know, I don't have the balls to do it in a recorded fashion. You know, if you saw me in Vegas, you definitely could get me to do it. I'm a little bit afraid of just screwing it up. But it was great. I can't. I don't want to try to do that.
Well, if you have if it comes out randomly over the next course of when we're doing the podcast, just
you know the alcohol is going to help. So it's possible by the end you'll have me doing my Ike impression, my Zygmunt impression. I probably have some other ones in the vault that I can pull out.
I've noticed this whiskey really whiskey. I wish I would drink this whiskey. Like I got to start drinking this shit more, man. This is pretty GTO stuff right here. It tastes good. You start feeling pretty good. I need to start drinking this during podcast, maybe, man. This might be
I really enjoy after like a long day of poker, relaxing and having like just sitting on the couch and having a scotch. It really like calms me down and like mellows me out. I really enjoy that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think my friend Adrian drinks whiskey all the time in between, which then causes him to pour the piss bottle on his head. So I'm not sure if I want to go down the whiskey route, but he said Phil Hellmuth is going to start streaming on Twitch. I think that was actually a joke April Fool's article you read that Phil Hellmuth was going to stream on Twitch, by the way, written by my boy Robbie Straczynski, actually. So I don't think Phil Hellmuth is going to stream on Twitch. I hate to disappoint you guys that might think that, unfortunately. So
he would obviously be pretty entertaining.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that guy. What do you think about the 24/7 poker channel? I feel like it's like a couple years late, but
yeah, that's certainly what it seems like. But if it's just like,
I'm a fan of it, but
it's going to be on cable, like satellite, or is it going to be online?
Let me see real quick. I think it's gonna.
Like you can like order it on your. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I think it's a couple years too late. But I have an open mind. If it works, that would obviously be great for us. I don't know, man. Like Black Friday really sucked. I mean, when you go out and you play poker in America, poker is fucking booming. Like anywhere, especially anywhere on the West Coast, like LA. Vegas, like poker is just huge still. It's so big. Like Americans love playing poker. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this network had at least a little bit of support. I mean, don't know the economics of it, how much it would take for this to be profitable and continue. But there's a lot, like when you go, like I said, when you go to live tournaments in America, you would think that it's the height of the poker boom everywhere you go.
Yeah, I'm reading the one of the articles, Poker Fuse. Shout out to Poker Fuse, by the way. They wrote about it, and it looks like it's gonna be on TV, tablet, and phone. And they got some people that have some pretty good credentials working in positions of power in the company. It looks like that are in charge of what's gonna be shown on the television. So, I mean, I'm excited to see. Like, I mean, I'm always like begging for people to create new content or come out with new ideas for different content. So, if we can get some new stuff and it's not all reruns and some new ideas, then I think that's gonna be fucking cool. And
anything new in poker that people are trying something new, I'm in favor of it. It's a good idea to at least, any attention to poker, I think, is a good idea. That's why I think like people who are like really negative about like the Twitch phenomenon, I think it's just ridiculous. Just bring it on, like all of it. It's all good. Like any sort of attention.
Yeah, I think friend of the podcast, Tim Stone, made an interesting post in News Use Gossip recently. Did you read Tim Stone's post in News Use Gossip?
Yeah, I did. I didn't agree too much with that. I thought it was pretty outrageous. It was just
you haven't read Tim Stone?
He's just making up nonsense and then thinking it's like you can't just like state things as facts that aren't facts and then draw conclusions based on them. And that's just not how like it just doesn't work like that. That's just not how things happen. First of all, I strongly disagree with the attitude behind it. Even if empirically he's right that like poker strategy made all the Russians good at poker and then this happened and that, even if that was true, I still disagree with the conclusion drawn from it and the attitude that he takes there for after. Like, you're not entitled to stay where you're at. Like when poker is in a certain state that you are crushing or you're doing well, and then it shifts away from that, there's no entitlement for you to stay there based on the fact that you were there at first or whatever. Like, poker is going to change and it's going to shift just like anything else in this world, and it's going to keep progressing and moving forward. And the attitude that you have to have with regard to that, if you want to like continue to be relevant in the poker world, is to stay with it and stay current and either be a part of whatever that thing is. Like, you can try to make money from twitching or from coaching sites or whatever, or just work hard to stay ahead of the curve. Because the fact is, it's kind of ridiculous to be afraid of like people getting too good because of Twitch. Like, I mean, I don't know what games he plays or what where this is going to have the most effect. But
so
at least
I just want to talk about the post real quick for those who haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's called Twitch. This is going to be the nail in the coffin on Twitch. I'll put the link in the description if you're watching this back at a later date. But Tim Stone, who obviously is one of my friends, I've seen him in many different countries, and he plays mid stakes, full ring, and six max, and he's a very big known seed scripter. He basically, his point he was making in the post was that Twitch people are getting. You don't want to have gamers come into poker because they have all this free time and they don't have any disposable income, so they don't have a lot of money to lose, but they have a lot of money to make because they have so much free time to sit down and play poker. And that Twitch is actually going to be a bad thing, and Twitch is basically going to be the nail in the coffin because everyone's going to be learning and getting better at poker through Twitch. And when I first read his post, I was like, interesting. But then when I read a lot of the replies, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I really disagree with his overall post.
Yeah, I mean, it's I really disagree with it. He also is like super against training sites, right? I think I got that whiff of that from.
I think a lot of people that play poker for the most part that have been playing since 2000, because we both started playing in 2007, me and Tim Stone at the same time. We started playing 10 cent, 25 cent together a long time ago. And I think anyone that started playing back in that day kind of, I feel like a lot of people got better without training sites, and then training sites came along, and then so now a lot of
training sites were around before 2007. Like, when was Card Runners? 2006, 2005?
Was it? I'm not sure really.
I think it was. I'm not really sure, but wasting time like complaining about training sites is just kind of silly. Like,
I agree.
The truth is, like, most of the work done to improve at poker is done on like a it's done like in the lab, you know, it's done like doing work off the table, and it's bringing like a higher level of intensity and focus when you're playing, and it's doing like, you know, database review and stuff like that. I'm not saying training videos are a part of that. They're just a part of that. Okay, they're not. It's not like there is nothing magical about training videos. They're not gonna. You can't watch a training video and become good at poker. That's not how it works. And for the most part, for all the energy people spend complaining about training sites and Twitch and all that, the fact is they could probably just spend that time getting better at poker, and they don't. And I'm not speaking specifically about this guy, Tim Stone, right? I don't know anything about him, so I'm not like judging him or his process, because I don't know. I can't say that. But I'm just saying in general, that's the way I think there's a flaw that a lot of people have. The fact is, at different times in poker world, there's been really soft like patches. There's been certain games that have been really good for a while. And if you went and you were aware of the situation and you attacked those different spots, you'd have done really well. And you can sort of still do that. And it's obviously way harder than it's ever been, but I mean, poker is never going to go backwards. It's never going to get softer. It's never going to, I'm not going to say it's never going to get softer, because who knows, US legislation, whatever. But you can't expect poker to stand still while you just clean up. It's just not realistic. You have to expect that poker is going to continue to get tougher, because the way people get better, I mean, there's just millions of man hours being put in every year at improving the way like No Limit is being played. It's just hard to keep up with that if you're not very aggressive about it. The sun is set outside. Am I getting really dark? Should I put on light?
I think if you want to put on a light, let's see if it can change. I think people like to see your face. East Coast Grinder says, is Ansky about to compete for the fittest man in poker? Oh, okay.
What? Hell no.
I was gonna say, man, you are looking a little kind of ripped there, bro. What the fuck you been doing lately?
No, I am not looking ripped. I don't think so. I've been really lazy lately. Although I need to start getting a little bit more aggressive about it. I am getting married this year, so I need to fit into a suit.
Where's the wedding gonna be? What's the wedding idea plan here?
We're getting married in Florence.
Italy?
Yeah.
How many people are coming? Who's like? What's the idea for that?
I'm not sure. It's probably gonna be around 100 or so, maybe people, maybe a little less, maybe 90, something like that.
Fuck, man, Italy, huh? That's gonna be.
Did that light make it worse?
It's gonna be the same, basically. No difference. I mean, I literally have a light that shines on me right here, which is.
Well, you're a professional at this. I'm just a guest.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason I look so light is because there's like a fucking. I suppose I could show the light. Look at the light. It's literally a light that just shines on me.
You.
What'd you say?
I believed you that there was a light.
I want to show people. I gotta show them the magical light, man.
Shining off your forehead.
Yeah, it's just glistens on my face, and yeah. I believe it says you're married, right? That means you can relax and get fat.
Oh, thanks.
Hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you're married, technically, I think you want to stay in shape to, make your wife or your spouse or your husband happy. If you don't want to.
Also, just a worthy life goal to just be in shape. You don't have to do it for other people. You can do it for yourself.
I'd be pretty tilted if I got married and my wife is like, "Fuck it, I'm done." Like that's it. After the wedding, I'm putting on. Not
even just from like a sexual perspective, but just from like a self-worth perspective. It's just kind of like, why would you do that to yourself? Like it's just silly.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, life is over. I'd give up. I'm just gonna get fat and wait to die.
You know what? I honestly thought that way about marriage for a while. I was like, God, if you get married, it's like, why would you try anymore? You're like, what's the motivation to keep going? But now that I'm getting older, how old are you now? Are you 27?
28.
28, yeah. So I'm a year older than you now, and now that I'm getting older, I'm realizing that's not the case. You can still be motivated and be in a relationship or be married or.
Yeah, actually, I think it's more motivating to me, because now I'm not just doing stuff for myself. I'm doing stuff for myself and Stephanie. So it's like it's almost doubly as motivating.
What has Stephanie been doing right now this whole time? Is she there like?
She just got home. She wasn't here. She just walked in.
Oh, she missed a lot of good things. I think if you missed the first part of the podcast, Stephanie, Donnie was talking very nicely about you. He was very complimentary. He said you're maybe one of the best people he's ever met in your life. So just to give you a little recap of the first part of the podcast in case you missed it.
I'm gonna watch it later, so.
Well, I mean, let me revisit that comment after you watch it then, I guess. And yeah, you said that. What is she gonna be doing in Vancouver while you're there? You're working. Is she gonna be like at Lululemon buying yoga pants and doing yoga and CrossFit or something, or what? Going hiking up the mountain?
Yeah, for now at least, because we're gonna go to Vegas after this, so we're not like settled down yet until after the World Series. That's when this is like actually gonna potentially become like a home, Because right now we're just kind of like we're here to play Scoop and and then stay and then go play World Series and then come back. So we're not like settled down fully yet.
Does she play poker too?
No, not really.
Not really?
Like, some $5 sit and goes and stuff like that.
Ooh, okay. If you say for
instance, the ladies event, she'll play the ladies event. Let's
say she was interested in playing PLO. And there's a lot of people out there like this. How would you get her started? What would you tell her to do? How would you tell her to learn PLO?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I wouldn't tell anyone to get into PLO until they've at least become competent at no limit.
Oh no, I can't give that advice, but
because I think it's so much tougher to just go straight into PLO because no limit, you can really frame situations in very reasonable terms. It's it's much more. Let me try to put this the best way. When you have queens, a pair of queens, you can be, and an ace and a king comes out, you can just be like, well, he might have an ace or he might have a king, so you're probably beat. It's so much more complicated with PLO because outs are so much more fluid and just move, it's and the concept of being ahead or behind is so much more different in PLO, and the way outs work, and the fact that you have to be so much more conscious of what an out really is in PLO. Whereas in no limit, it's much more static. It's much more just or I don't know if static's the right word, but it's much more situations are a little bit more cut and dry in no limit. There's way more situations where the concept of being polar with your ranges in no limit in certain situations, it's really easy to explain. Basically, it's not that hard to conceptualize why that happens in certain situations. It's not that hard to be you want in this situation on the river, you want to be 70% value, 30% bluffs. Here's where your bluffs come from. Here's where your value comes from. It's much easier to frame that. In PLO, it's a lot harder because there's just so many combinations. And so it's so much more difficult to put everything into a perspective of it's just because ideally in poker, when you're trying to explain something to somebody new, you want to put it in as simple terms as possible, right? And I don't think it's too easy to put PLO into simple terms. You're just oh, well, you flopped a 16 out wrap, but only 12 of your outs are to the nuts, and then you have this, and it's just it's kind of complicated.
It's a great point. I always think people always ask me, obviously, how do I get started in PLO? As my goal is to try to get every single person in the world playing the game. And yeah, that was too much strat, Jonathan. You're right. But yeah, I think that's a really good advice. Probably.
You want to no more strategy? You want to see my dogs?
No, we love strategy. Someone else's strategy. Strategy, it's fine. Let's see the dogs. Fuck, let's put the dogs up here, man.
Dogs, come here.
Let's get the dogs. Let's get your girlfriend come say hello. Your fiance come say hello. We love fiancés and girlfriends on the podcast, of course.
Okay, this is no stay. She doesn't like when I pick her.
What's going on over there? Is he eating the dog?
I have two dogs. This is
Taco Bell dog.
Yeah, this is the Mexican dog. We picked up a dog in Mexico and brought her back.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Isn't that illegal? You can't bring a dog from Mexico to Vancouver. Is that illegal?
It's not illegal. You're allowed to get a dog from another country. You just have to get vet papers and stuff like that.
Yes. So that's one of your dogs. What's the other dog? What's our dogs?
All sitting on the couch. She doesn't want to move.
He's chilling. Huh?
So yeah, we have So Marlo, I got. This is okay. Just bring it up here. That dog was the Mexican dog we adopted from a
Mexican dog.
1 sec. Sorry. Coordinating. Come here. Nika. Okay. Here's Marlo. This is my American dog that I got when I was living in New York.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, so I got Marlo when I was living in New York 5 years ago or so. He's about 5 years old. And then, yeah, he's been with me through all of it. We moved to, he's been in Vegas. He moved to Toronto with me, moved to Mexico, moved back to Vancouver. Yeah, so he's been on a plane twice. He's been to the Grand Canyon. He's a well-traveled dog.
This dog's done more than most people watching the podcast right now, man.
Yeah, he's very well-traveled. I had him when I was living in New York, and then the other one, the Taco Bell dog, as you call her. She's like a Mexican street dog that we adopted.
What do we call her? Wait, what's her name? Not Taco Bell dog or Mexican dog? What's it?
Her name is Muñeca.
What?
It's Spanish. It means doll. That was her name that when we got her. So my girlfriend, or my fiance Stephanie, was volunteering at a dog shelter in Mexico, and so we'd get like all sorts of random dogs. We fostered 2 dogs, and we ended up giving one of them to her sister, and we kept one. So we
volunteered at a dog shelter in Mexico.
Yeah.
What the hell? We gotta get some stories in this dog shelter, man. What kind of?
It's not really that pleasant. It's like kind of horrible. It's just like abused dogs and diseased dogs. It's not. Yeah, it's not like fun and games. It's kind of just sad and depressing.
What'd you say?
What did you say?
It's Sauce's dog.
Oh, actually, yeah, it's Sauce's dog right now. So we fostered a dog and gave it to her sister, and then she gave it to Sauce. So Sauce has a Mexican street dog.
Wait, how does her sister know Sauce?
His name. What's that?
How does her sister know Sauce?
I mean, we're all, it's all in the family.
Huh. Okay.
So that dog's name was Ziggy, and his name was Ziggy because he was found in a garbage can when he was a puppy, and he was like, some asshole fucking put him in a garbage can, and his tail was like damaged. It was like crooked, and so he had this crooked tail, so they named him Ziggy, and he still has this crooked tail. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a lightning bolt. So his name is Ziggy.
Does Ziggy have like a running cage at where he sleeps in? He's always walking on the cage, so it kind of keeps up with Sauce when he's walking on his treadmill.
No, I think he just sits down.
Oh, that's not fun. He's got to give him a little mini treadmill for the dog to walk past him when he's grinding scoop over there in Toronto.
Yeah, I don't know if it's really his style, but you should get Sauce on the podcast. But he's a little bit more private. I don't know. He lives with Dan. Is he still living with Dan? He doesn't live with Dan. He kind of just
stays in, pops out.
He has like an office there, sort of.
Okay. Yeah, I have to get Sauce. I obviously love to have Sauce on a podcast too, but I don't think he uses Twitter. And I met him once in real life, and I haven't really talked to him too much. So I stopped being a telemarketer on Twitter, because sometimes I'd reach out to people I had never met before and like, hey, you want to come on? I feel like I'm a fucking hey, can I sell you this like podcast appearance? You know what I mean? Feels fucking weird. I just don't want to do it anymore. So
yeah, and not everyone in poker always wants to like broadcast themselves. Sometimes people are more private. Like I said, it's everybody's decision.
Yeah.
The dogs.
What's up, bro? What's up, DS? It's like David Sklansky's parrot, except some cool dogs. Instead.
That one's name is the black one. His name is Marlo, named after Marlo Stanfield from The Wire.
Oh, okay. I actually know. So I'm not gonna. I don't want this to change your opinion about me, but I've never watched The Wire before.
Well, lucky you. You get to watch The Wire.
Is this a bad thing? If this is like a bad thing that I should be watching The Wire, I should have watched it by now.
You were saying, like, why do poker players love sushi so much? Like poker players also love the wire. You really are like missing out on this like community of poker players who've seen the wire.
Yeah, I think I don't know, man, like 6 seasons. I don't feel like hopping into a 6-season, 54-minute show and then having to like binge watch it over. I don't know. All right, I'm going to try some new questions on you, okay? I literally got these today, all right?
Good.
Okay, I tell you about the outline I was putting here. This outline's fucking epic right here. Okay, I got 5 new questions. We're gonna sample them here. How would you describe what you do in 1 sentence? What is the elevator? In the future, I'm gonna deliver these way more eloquently, like it's naturally done. But now I've never said these before. What is the elevator pitch if someone asks you what you do?
Like for a living?
Yeah, like say, hey, what do you do, bro? Like, what do you do? Oh, what kind of stuff do you do? Like, if you meet someone with you and your girlfriend are out, you guys are eating some sushi, having some wine, drinking some whiskey, and someone's like, oh, what do you guys do? Then what do you? What's the
I'm
answer?
a professional poker player.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I play poker on the internet and travel the world playing live poker tournaments. And that, I mean, I don't know. I usually say that and then I just wait for their response and see how, what level of like respect / curiosity they show towards it. Because, some people are very dismissive of it. And like when somebody's just like, oh yeah, bro, like I play poker too, like, yeah, I love poker. Yeah, okay. I'm just like, all right, whatever, fuck you. Like and people don't realize that that's like insulting, it's just like if if somebody said like they were a doctor, you wouldn't be like, oh yeah, well, I practice medicine by doing this, or you wouldn't say some nonsense like that. It's just like, not that don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm worthy of respect like a doctor, obviously not. But I'm just trying to draw a comparison. It's like people are just like dismissive of it a lot of the time. And when they're really dismissive of it, I just kind of like I don't like to talk about it anymore. But if they're like curious and just asking questions, I'm very happy to talk about it and explain. And I don't mind like stupid questions. It's just like if it's just when it's the only time I like get like a little bit upset, not upset, but just like I no longer want to participate in the conversation is when it's just like really disrespectful, where basically you just like dismiss it. People just like dismiss it as like nonsense.
Yeah, that one's great. When someone's like, "Oh yeah, I'd play some poker too," you're like, "Okay, what? Okay." Like I don't know.
Like, honestly, it's not even like I don't like hold it against them because I realize how ridiculous poker is as like to say like, "Oh yeah, I play poker for." I know I understand that's like a crazy thing to say, so I don't even like hold it against them. But I also just like don't want to have that conversation for like the 3,000th time. Like, it's just,
yeah, I've been saying like. When people are asking me what I do lately, like, and I meet new people, I'm like, well, I play poker online and I also do podcasts on YouTube. And they're like, oh, what? They don't know what either one of those things mean. So it's perfect. I get to explain 2 things now instead of just 1 thing, which is before poker. I'm like, well, I don't even know how I still explain poker really. I just kind of say that. And then whenever you mention traveling the world or living in different countries, usually like it gives you a little credibility behind what you're saying. So it kind of, you can just go from there. As you said, when someone asks questions, you kind of just go from there and feed off of what they say. And then
people ask questions that they would never normally ask other people about their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They always just go straight to like, oh, how much money do you make? So
yeah.
Like, well, like, that's a rude question, man.
I think people ask that just because they're like, I get that question all the time. It's just because they're unsure, like, what exactly what does that mean? So, like, do you make money? Is this like you make $5? Like, so they're just trying to better understand, like, what the job is.
I don't think they're malicious. I don't think they're being mean when they say that, or like, I don't think that it's necessarily their fault. Mm-hmm. It's just so weird that they're taken back by that and they ask a ridiculous question, which whatever. I don't lose sleep over it. Yeah. Like we said earlier, when something like bothers me, I just try to avoid it. So I just kind of just like try to move on, change the subject.
Yeah, I feel like this response I don't get as much as I used to get back like 4 years ago. My cousin Rambo plays poker. Oh no, my friend Jimmy plays poker too. He makes so much, dude. He makes so much money. Like this guy, he always wins. He always wins, and yeah. I've never got that response as much as I used to get it, luckily. But I used to always get that response.
Actually, I went to the eye doctor the other day.
Oh no!
I went to the eye doctor and I had to get and the guy is asking me questions like, the standard, like, how long have you worn glasses? How many hours you spend a day on the computer? Blah, blah, blah. Like just standard eye exam questions. And then he's like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, I'm a professional poker player. And he like puts down the clipboard and he's just like, whoa. And he's just like, is it rigged online? Is it rigged? And I'm just like, no, it's not rigged. And he's like, I'm telling you, man, 7 out of 10 times when I get aces, I lose. And I'm just like, no, you don't. It's selective memory. He's like, what? I'm like, it's just selective memory. You don't lose 7 out of 10 times with aces. And he like looked so shocked that I just like gave him such a frank answer. And I was just like, and he's just like, oh, okay. And he just like moved on with the questions and just went back to work.
Yeah, I try to tell people if it's rigged in my favor, so I don't mind if it's rigged. That's the answer I've been giving. Like, because I get that. Everyone's always like, it's rigged. I heard it's rigged. I heard it's rigged, and I'm just like, well, I don't know. They must have rigged something for me. I don't understand. Like, that's man, that's a. I hope poker becomes back in the United States so I can get some more of these comments again. I like to hear about your friend Tim who plays poker, who's made a bunch of money playing poker and never loses. I enjoy hearing about those people. Mm-hmm. Because it kind of, it's
yeah, I know what you mean.
Believe it says, what would you say? What if you said you were a professional chess player and they said they played chess too? That's a great question. Believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure chess players have to deal with that also, where like you're a grandmaster and somebody's just like, oh yeah, man, I always play this homeless guy near my house who sits there and I always beat him. It's just like, great, I don't care. I'm a grandmaster. I play against Magnus Carlsen. Leave me alone.
I go to the beach and I play against a homeless guy Randy 3 times a week, and I'm a chess player too.
Yeah, I mean, fine. Like, I'm sure they deal with the same thing, that dismissal of it as a legitimate career, which is a fair dismissal.
Bang bang. Okay. Well, if Jen Shahad on a podcast, we're gonna ask her about this dismissal for it.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I don't mean. I meant poker, not chess.
Oh, okay. Matt says Ansky putting his eye doctor in his place, and Warm Deck says best would be if eye doctor pulled out a graph. And that would be pretty good.
Yes. Show me your receipts.
I know, for real. Okay, what is the one thing that keeps you awake at night?
Like I said, I'm a little bit nervous when I just see no action online, like no PLO action above like 510. That kind of makes me nervous when I see that, because if I'm like, it's like it's a little bit scary because there's just nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't work harder to make more action at high stakes. That scares me a little bit. So that keeps me awake at night a little bit. As far as like I don't think poker as like a thing is gonna go anywhere. Like, I think it'll always be poker, but it's a little bit scary when like your niche thing might be going away. Which is why I want to, at some point, not now, but like at some point, I want to try to get good at mixed games, because just the main appeal is I just want to be more flexible, and I want to be able to adapt to the changes in the poker world more easily. Whereas like right now, if like, let's say high stakes PLO just died, I'd be kind of screwed. I mean, I wouldn't have that much to do. I'm not, I'm so much better at that than anything else in poker. So, I could always go play be a live pro, and play like live, no limit in PLO if I had to. I don't want to do that, but that's kind of like, I feel like that as a backup, it's okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys, I know I saw CTS, he was playing some of the 100-200 mixed 8 game on Stars too. I think that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're kind of going to the mixed game route. And
yeah, I mean, it's appealing because it seems there's not like a ton of mixed game action, but there's always been like that base level. It seems like there's always been like a decent amount. And one thing is that live, there's always a lot of live mixed game action. And also you get into random situations where like being able to play stud 8 is like good, because what if some stud 8 game starts and you want to be able to play that, or like if you're, I mean, just random situations like just being an expert at every game is so appealing, because, or at least being competent in every game, I should say, because it just gives you flexibility, and it just means that you can adapt to the changes in the poker world, which sometimes are slow and gradual, that you can move with it, but sometimes they're very like radical and quick, and it's a little bit scarier, So being able to hold your own as the poker world changes is very important, and I don't think I'm like well prepared to do that right now, just only being good at like no limit tournaments and PLO cash games.
So I guess is your plan to play more 8-game, or are you not thinking about doing that?
I have nothing in the works in the short term to do that. I still think PLO is good enough right now that should be my focus. But it's like a long term thing, like something at some point I would like to take that on as like a project to try to do it. I don't have any specific plans for it or how I would do it, but it's something I would like to do at some point. I know there's also like a bit of pride to it. I think like, these are poker games that I'm not good at. That's kind of like, I'm a poker player. I should be good at those games.
Right.
Like, I don't think I'm like great at no limit or anything. Like, I would never play like in a tough no limit cash game, but I'm at least like competent, like I've played like a million hands of no limit hold'em in my life,
Yeah,
okay.
like you battled it out for sure. You've definitely put in the hours at home.
The hours earlier in my life, yeah. But like, at deuce to 7 or stud 8 or something, I'm basically just a huge fish. So
Jacob Stafford asked a question which I can immediately answer. He says, does Ansky still have the same passion for poker as he did 7 years ago? Does it feel like more of a grind now? And the answer obviously is I think you have a bigger passion for poker now than you probably had 7 years ago, as you've stated a couple times. But does it feel like more of a grind now, or do you feel like it's still enjoyable? Do you still enjoy doing it?
I think the grind has a bit of a negative connotation to it, where I'm forcing myself to play. I mean, I'm not forcing myself to play. It is a grind in that I'm putting in a lot of hours that I didn't used to do that. And so in that regard, it is more of a grind, and I was like more casual about it in the past. But it's not a grind like the 9 to 5 Monday to Friday grind. Like it's not torturous. I don't force myself into it. I'm happy to be playing. So in that regard, it's not a grind.
That's a really great way to look at it, because every time I always talk about poker, I feel like I'm saying it like you got to grind, you got to work. And when I say work, it's not like it's like fucking work. It's not like it's work. It's not really work to me. Like I like really love doing it, really enjoy doing it. And I think that's a really great way to put it. Something I've never really said it specifically like you just said that. That's a great way to phrase that word and what grind actually means. Grind's not like, it's not a negative thing. Grind is like a positive thing. It's like you're grinding, you're getting better, you're enjoying what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's very rewarding. It feels great. Like when you, like, I feel great after I play a session and I think I played well, and I like, if I think I played really well and I ran bad, I feel like okay. If I feel like I played bad and I ran bad, I feel kind of shitty. But if I feel like I played great and I ran really well, it's a great feeling. I feel very vindicated. It feels like it's your hard work paid off. It's a nice feeling. It's good. It's instant gratification for what is generally a difficult process. So it feels nice to get a pat on the back.
East Coast Grinder's asking a couple good questions. He says, any advice for someone who is coming out to Vegas for the World Series of Poker the first time, whether to stay at a hotel or stay at a poker house?
It depends on the poker house, I think, and it depends on what your goals are. I mean,
it definitely depends.
My first summer in Vegas, I didn't really care that much about the World Series. I was like, yeah, I'll go play some events, but really I'm just going to go party like 6 nights a week. That was a long time ago. 21-year-old Dani. Not
married, hey, you're married. Of course, that's behind you, kid. Don't worry. We understand.
No, really, it's but that was kind of like my goals, and I just wanted to like party and just enjoy Vegas and just be like a sort of degenerate and just do that. But if that's like if that's your goal, then that's fine. Like, you can do that. If your goal is to play poker and get better, and you're taking it as like a very serious work trip, I mean, if you have the right house, that would be great. If you have like a bunch of grinders who are like very serious and you think they can make you better, either because they will inspire you with their work ethic, or they will help you strategy wise, or any number of things, or they're really healthy and you think that'll be like a good way to it'll be like a good adjustment in your life, or whatever you want to say. Sure. If you think it's going to be a distraction though, and you will be better off by yourself and you'll just focus more if you just stay at the Rio and just live there all summer, Yeah, that's an option. The only thing I would say is that you might go crazy if you live at the Rio. If you just never see the sun and you just like literally never go outside and you just go play World Series events and you just go back up to your room in the Rio, you might go insane. So just be careful.
Yeah, I think it's also, those are great points you said about people in the house finding like if they want to party, if they want to work, if they want to do that. I think it's also cheaper to stay in a house if you can find a house than staying. I mean, my place I like to stay is Badara. It's got a kitchen. You can stay healthy, you can cook your food there, which is really important to somebody like me. It's not important to somebody else who's not worried about their diet as much. They're just like poker. That's it. Like I'm really trying to like stay in my routine, work out, eat really well, try to get to the Fort diet level at some point in time in my life where I'm eating 825 times a day and drinking 875 gallons of water. I don't think I'm going to do that. But yeah, I think finding a place now seems like a much harder proposition than finding a place back in the day when everyone was getting houses. Now it's like, if you don't know people, how would you find a house?
Yeah, it's a little bit more like, also, the poker world, that's how it is. It's become much more like cliquey, where like everybody has their friends and that's it. Like that's your crew.
Yeah.
So it would be probably like a little bit tougher now to just like go find a random house, but I'm sure there's stuff out there,
Yeah, marketplace guys. If you're interested in checking out a house, someone's out there, they're like interested. It's April, so it's getting kind of late. A lot of the good houses are probably gone, but check out 2+2 Marketplace. If you post on a sub forum a lot, ask if anyone's interested in a house. And I think that's probably the best way to go upon it if you, for some reason, you don't have a house now. Where do you think you'd stay at if you were like, where do you think you'd stay at if you knew some people, but you didn't know it for a house? Like, what do you think is the best hotel to stay at? Assuming like it's affordable too, and you didn't have like an infinite amount of money to spend.
It depends on where you're planning on playing the most. Like if you're planning on playing at the Rio the whole time, like you're gonna grind cash games at the Rio when you bust, or you're gonna play like the daily deep stack or whatever, like whatever's just running at the Rio. I'd probably stay at like Palms Place or something like that, somewhere close to the Rio that you're never gonna experience traffic, but at least like I wouldn't stay at the Rio. I just have that little bit of a barrier where you take that 1 minute drive every day. Definitely rent a car. Don't fucking take cabs. Vegas cabs are the worst. Vegas cabs are the worst thing on earth. They're just the worst.
The worst thing on earth. Literally, the worst thing.
My goals every summer, my goals going to Vegas are: number 1, never take a cab. Number 2, don't go to any clubs.
The worst. Well, you're married. Come on. Hey, listen, I'm not anyone listening, I'm not advocating those two. I'm advocating the cabs. I'm not advocating no clubs. Why no clubs? Why no cabs?
Well, I just hate clubs. I really hate
married. You like clubs and you weren't married though, kid.
No, I didn't. I went to clubs when I went to clubs when I was younger and I was single because as a means to an end, but I never actually enjoyed them. I was never like, this is great. I love this fucking sweaty, crowded area where I can't hear anything and I have to dance even though I fucking hate dancing and all. Yeah, ugh, it was fucking terrible. Now I like despise them. Like now that I both don't like them as a place and also have no use for them, it's like the worst place on earth for me is a club.
Worst place on earth is the club. Not anywhere else. The club. Okay.
Yeah, club. I mean, okay. I would rather be like in a club in Vegas than like be on like a battlefield in Iraq or something like that. That's yes, you're right. I would rather do that. But
I guess they're comparable.
I'm saying in my world, in my universe, the club is the worst place on earth.
I gotta get married. Fuck this. I'm getting married. I don't want to like clubs either.
Yeah, you'll save a lot of money too.
Yeah, it's true. You save those.
There's nothing worse than doing something you hate and spending like $2,000 on it. It's fucking awful.
Especially if you CCR and lose a bill, then that's even more tilting.
Brutal. It's terrible. It makes me feel disgusting inside. And then the reason I hate Vegas cabs is, first of all, they're fucking expensive. They're really expensive to go like anywhere of a reasonable distance. And actually, that's not first of all. That's second of all. First of all, the reason I hate Vegas cabs is Vegas cabbies. They are the worst. They are so bad. They always want to fucking tell you about. First of all, they have this thing with poker players where all of them know all about your life. They're always just like, oh, a poker player, huh? Let me tell you about a poker player that I once took. And they tell you some story about how some poker player fucking that they knew fucking like killed himself or like some horrible fucking crap. They just do this all the time. I'm not making this up. This is like a constant thing when I take a cab in Vegas where people the cabbies just fucking go off about how stupid poker is or whatever. they're horrible. Like you'll tip them and you'll give them like a 15% tip or something, which is like fine for a taxi. And then they'll sit there and they'll like berate you for asking for more change. And on top of that, they don't know the city at all. It's ridiculous. They only know the Strip. If you ask them to take you to a house, they don't even know like a single street outside of the Strip.
Is there Uber in Vegas right now?
And then wait, hold on. And then this is the best part. When you tell them where you want to go, you give them the address, and they don't know where it is. This is what they do. They reach under the seat and they take out a fucking book with some old ass maps. They look at a bunch of maps. They don't have GPS. What kind of fucking city? Like, I live in Mexico, and the cabbies are more likely to have GPS than in fucking Vegas. The cabbies in Vegas are from another century.
Oh, man. Hold on. Isn't Uber in Vegas or no?
I think it's since it wasn't there last summer, but I think very recently they're in Vegas. But they don't pick up from the Strip, I think is the rule I read. I haven't been to Vegas since they got Uber.
I just gotta tell people this: if you live in a city where Uber is possible, and you know someone who doesn't take Uber, you should not trust that person as being an intelligent source of information, because you should never take a cab again in your life if Uber is available. Uber is the most convenient thing I've ever experienced in my whole entire life.
Uber is a great company, and it's a really great product that they provide. But I'm a little bit afraid of them as a company. They're kind of evil.
Why is that?
You should read a little bit about some business practices.
Oh, you mean the behind the scenes things with the founders and the conversations?
They did some really nasty shit with their competitors with Lyft. They basically were like, it's never been confirmed, but it was like suspected that they were basically calling Lyft cabs and then just ditching them. They were poaching Lyft drivers, and then there was also all sorts of like shady sort of like sexual harassment stuff from some women in the company. They just seem kind of shady. With that said, I agree, as like a product that they produce an incredible product. It's a great service, and it just keeps getting better, because in cities where it exists, where there's more drivers and it's becoming more common, it's just such a convenient product. But they don't have it in Vancouver.
Well, Vancouver, I mean, you don't really, I guess, I when I was in Vancouver, I literally never left the little, like, what they call the bridge and tunnel people. I think that's kind of a shot at bridge and tunnel people, but that's what they call it there. So I never really left the bridge. I have stayed in Yaletown, downtown, Gastown, West End, and Cole Harbor. I didn't really never went anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's a good walking city, but you still might need a cab somewhere. But they actually have in Vancouver, they have a copycat app that, like, the yellow cab company, like the city cabs, they have like an Uber type app here, and it's not quite as good as Uber, because you have to like it doesn't, like, the location services doesn't work as well, but it's pretty similar, and it's actually not bad.
Someone's yelling in the chat about, I don't know what this guy, he says in capital letters, ask him how much better he has gotten since that show he was on with that Indian kid.
Yeah, that was 2 months to million, and that Indian kid was Emil.
What kind of weird question? This guy's like really upset. Fuck that taxi topic. All right, calm down. Calm down, new guy to the chat. I've never seen you before. Calm the fuck down, okay? Take a step back, chill for a second. Warm Deck asked a great question. How much would it take to get Danny to take a cab to a club 7 nights in a row? Donnie. Fuck, man. It's so, how do people remember to say that? Donnie. Okay, Donnie.
Sorry, what was the question?
Ask him how much it would take to get Donnie to take a cab to a club 7 nights in a row.
That's a great question.
That's a really good question.
How much would it take? I don't know. If you're offering money, you can start making offers, and I'll consider them if anyone actually wants to pay for that. Which I don't think anyone actually has anything to offer for that. But yeah, I would probably do it. Starting bid, I would do it for. Do I have to stay at the club?
That's a great question too. I think you got to stay.
If I can just walk in and walk out, I would do it for a pretty small number.
I think you got to stay at the club for about 4 hours.
I would do it for $300 a night. Just give me that money really quick. Be gone. Go back. If I have to stay in there, it starts going up to like $1,000 an hour.
You got to dance at the club at least.
If I have to dance, it's like $2,000 an hour.
I think you got to dance at the club, man.
The number is embarrassingly high.
Nathaniel says, interesting that you're old school of poker and it's Black Friday anniversary. Coincidence? It's actually not a I didn't even. I didn't remember today was that day. So
I did not even think about that. It is the Black Friday anniversary, 4 years. Yeah, it seems like
years.
Yeah, it seems like a long time. Like I can't even the thought of playing online poker in America to me is like so foreign right now. Of playing, stars, like real online poker. Like the thought, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it does seem like much longer. Adrian says he's cleaning his whole apartment while listening. He's got that motivation. That's a great thing, man.
I've never been able to apply that motivation to cleaning.
Well, you're married, buddy. That's what. And no,
don't go down that road.
That's misogynistic and feminist. I got to take that back. I don't want to offend the feminists that are listening out there. I'm going to take that comment back. Let's rewind 35 seconds. Hold on. You know what?
You're going to go down that road.
Donnie, think about when we should start cleaning more. You ever think about that?
I should. I definitely should. I'm disgusting.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to say anything about cleaning. I mean, that was honestly, I'm not going to say that in case my ex-girlfriend's watching this. Never mind. Are you on Supernova Elite pace for this year? Versace asks.
No, I'm pretty far behind. I don't know what I'm at right now. I'm probably at like 240 or 250 or something, which is, I guess it's not that far behind. I'm behind, but not like embarrassingly so. It's been, I didn't play like at all online for the first 6 weeks of the year because I was in Bahamas for PCA, and then I was in Australia for Aussie Millions, and then I went to Japan where I played like a tiny bit in each of those places, but I didn't play much online at all. And then lately I've been trying to play, but there just hasn't been much action. So I'm behind. I think what might end up happening, I might lose it, but I might get it, like pick it back up by the end of the year.
I bet you'll probably get it again, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sweating it super hard. If I don't get it, I don't, Yeah. The only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to end up getting like 750,000 VPPs. That would be silly.
Nothing more. That's unless you make like a lot of money, you should never get 750,000 VPPs. Pretty much.
Like once you cross like 650, 700, you should just fucking just get it done.
I know. Epicurus says, isn't Supernova Elite really easy to get if you play high 6 PLO? That's if there's always games running, Epicurus. Unfortunately.
No, it's actually really not. Like getting it only playing cash games is actually pretty tough, especially when you have play games that don't always run. I mean, like I don't pay that much in rake, like compared to other lower stakes players. It's. I mean, I pay more in dollar amounts, but in terms of like. I mean, it's just when you're playing, even when you're playing like sit and go players, it's super easy for them.
Then 2550 like 1.45, 1.5 VBP per hand or something like that. So you still need to play a lot of.
You're playing heads up and you're doing the 50 cent a hand rake and you're seeing a flop almost every hand, which you are in heads up. It's something like 1.38 a hand.
Okay.
But then the rake's higher at 6 max, but you're not seeing the flop every time. I don't know what it is. It's.
I think Odd Odson gets like 2.8 VPPs per hand because he never folds. So he's going to get Supernova Elite pretty easily.
I got it last year and I played around 400,000 hands.
Oh, well, that's actually, wow. That's a 1 point. That's like 2. What the fuck? Wait, what?
Yeah, I played some sit and goes, not many, like very few. There were for a while some PLO heads up sit and goes were running a little bit. Not many though, like maybe 100. I played like 100 2Ks. And I played some live tournaments, EPTs. You get VPPs for if you buy in on stars.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, you get VPPs if you buy into any live stars tournament. You get VPPs.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Is it a lot?
Sorry, the dog. It's standard tournament number. So like if you play 100K, which the rake is 2K, you get 10,000, or no more. You get 11,000 VPPs.
Wow. Okay.
And if you rebuy, you get them again, or re-enter.
I'm all right, guys. I'm getting in the 100K tournament grind. I'm gonna be selling action for it all. Markup 1.8, of course.
Yeah, playing the 100Ks for VPPs is a bit bold, but I would.
Rems asks, shout out to Rems. He says, what's Brian doing right now? Brian Roberts, who was I found out his screen name like months ago on Pokerstars, and I was surprised what his screen name was in Stars. But what's he up to these days?
He is I mean, he doesn't put in that much volume anymore. He prefers to just take pieces of me when I'm playing high stakes and just see what happens.
Seems smart.
He still plays a decent amount. He's around. He's a poker player still. He's not doing anything else. He went kind of deep in the main event last year. He got a little bit of coverage, I think. He came like 24th or something. He does like a little bit of traveling and playing live tournaments and like a little bit of grinding online. He'll be at the World Series. He'll play like probably 15 events or something like that. He's like slowed down a little bit in his grind, but he's still around, still doing well.
I think I was railing him during that event. I got a root for anyone that plays PLO and they go deep. So Cleaner, and then of course Felix, and then Brian. Yeah. I had to like cheer. You had to cheer for somebody. I'd rather cheer for a PLO guy over anybody else, basically.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So,
what'd
you say?
Gotta support the family.
Of course, man. The PLO family. I mean, even if I hate someone in PLO, I still got to support them. Escobar? What's up, Esco? Esco says, tell Ansky to follow my Instagram. I'm on Esco. Escobar's got an Instagram where he's posting. Jonathan says, Joey, can I stay with you if I come for a few days in June? What? No. What do you mean? Can you define what do you want to stay where?
On your couch. In your bed, maybe.
At my place at World Series? You want to stay with me at World Series of Poker? Just tell me more about you. I'm not quite sure. All right, a couple people, guys. We'll take some questions now if anyone has any questions. Let me scroll back up here. I've got a lot of random comments throughout the way. Would he sit in the high stakes cash game that will be televised at Aria? Heard about that.
I assume it's going to be no limit, which is just not that exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, like I said, I'm not that confident in my no limit cash game ability anymore. I haven't played that at a high level in a few years. But yeah, I mean, if I had an opportunity to play in a good game, sure. But that's not on my agenda. If it was PLO, I would make an effort to get in there. If it was PLO, I would.
That's my suggestion to the 24/7 Poker Network. Get some PLO on there, man. Get a little PLO cash game.
Man, it's great. Even if you don't understand what's going on, it's just fireworks. You just see fucking chaos. It's cool. It's like you don't know what's happening, but it's like a train wreck, and you can't take your eyes off. There's just people getting stacked left and right. When live cash games sometimes are really deep, and like super deep no limit is like kind of boring and stupid. Everybody just plays super pot control-y and protection-y, and it's just I guess now you have some like bosses that are just like 5x potting rivers and stuff, and it starts becoming cool. But like just generally like when you have like live games with like super deep no limit, it just kind of sucks like the way it's not entertaining. But super deep PLO is crazy because you can't do anything. You can't just like not stack off. You can't just not play a 500 big blind pot when you get deep. You can't just pot control when you have like you flop a 13 out wrap and a flush draw, and somebody has a set. The money's going in. It's just, and that happens like all the time, So there's going to be crazy action. Sometimes it just gets 3-bet in front of you, and you have aces, and you pot 4-bet, and then there's just so many more opportunities for huge pots, even when people are sitting deep and don't particularly want to play big pots. It's going to happen. So I think PLO is great for TV. I think it'd be really interesting. Like when they had PLO on. We had it on Poker After Dark that one time. That was awesome.
That was awesome. I agree, man. I hope there's some more PLO content obviously out there. They say it's growing. They say in the USA it's becoming more and more popular. But I'm not in the live streets. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not. But what the hell are you doing with that dog, dude?
Yeah, got the dog up here.
All right. Mucky Mouse says, I've never seen you. What's up, Mucky? Ansky, out of the 2 months, 2 million crew, who do you think has the most natural talent for poker?
Natural talent?
Yep.
That's a good question. I don't know. Like, I don't know exactly how to what natural talent means exactly. But I guess maybe this is the wrong approach. But I'm thinking like anything that's not applied, like anything that's not studied, would be natural. Is that really? I guess I think Brian would probably be the answer. I think Emil is more of a like a studied type opponent. He like thinks about things and then figures them out. Brian, I think, is a little bit more of a feel player. I don't think he's a feel player in that. Like, I don't want to say it like that, but he's a little bit more intuitive with his approach, I think. So I'd say probably Brian. I wouldn't say I'm naturally more talented than him. So I'd probably go with Brian. The way he approaches the game, you know, he thinks hard about like theory and stuff, but ultimately like probably goes with feel a lot of the time.
We say you, by the way. We all voted for you, so you're our answer. Who's got the most natural talent?
I don't think it's true. I don't think I'm naturally skilled at all.
I've been drinking way too much of this. I like literally almost drank this. I put a lot of it in the second cup and it's gone now. So I like have to go to the bathroom now.
Can I comment on your whiskey game a little bit?
Go ahead, sure.
You got to get a glass like this. You got to get like a classy Don Draper-esque whiskey glass.
Google this.
You can't be drinking out of some dorm room like sippy cup.
Yeah, it's not GTO, is it? Well, I wanted to put a lot in there. I didn't want to keep refilling it, so I just put out this big glass right here and just like filled it up. And now yeah, you're right, man.
No, I understand. I'm just throwing it out there. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ordering some right now. I just Google whiskey glasses. Now I'm gonna order one right now.
Yeah, you're already moving up the whiskey power rankings.
Warmbeck, what a fucking weird question.
I can't answer the question.
This is a weird question. I'm not asking this question on the live stream. What are they? Hold on a second. Was the tilt room in 2 months, 2 million as fun as it looked? TikTok 14S. You answer that question. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, the tilt room was it was fun. It was like they always came up with a ridiculous collection of items to put in there. Like the producers, they would basically they would refill they would like, you know, we'd go in there and we'd destroy shit, and then the producers would just like put together a concoction of all sorts of like weird things to destroy. Like they'd have like old VCRs and like printers and things like that, and like some glass things that would shatter and explode. And at some point Jay went and got like 30 watermelons to break. So that was pretty cool. The only thing with the tilt room is that I've talked about this before. It was semi-forced on us. Like it wasn't like we never like we agreed that there would be a tilt room, but the producers always wanted like more tilt room action. They were always like, I would like quit a session and be like kind of tilted and be like pissed because I lost, and the producers would be like, all right, why don't you go to tilt room? And I'd be like, I don't want to go to the tilt room. Like, what the fuck? Like when I lose, I just like sit on the couch and sulk. I don't go and like smash things like some fucking angry like 5-year-old. That's just not how like I think about, like I don't do that. So they would like have to kind of convince us to go to tilt room, and then yeah, sometimes we would do it. And so and then they would edit it and cut it so that it looks like oh, I lost with aces. Oh, smash a watermelon. But that's not really how it was, you know. It was fun. It was cool that it was there. It was Jay's idea.
Actually, I think from 2 months to 1 million, I actually got I put a punching bag in my office in San Diego, and whenever I'd get tilted, I would start fucking hitting the bag. So, and that came directly for idea from the tilt room on 2 months to 1 million. So I gotta thank you guys for that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Still at it. If anyone's if any of you guys are watching this back on replay on iTunes or on YouTube, and you're still watching right now this far into the podcast, let me fucking know you're watching this far, because I got to show you guys some love. If you made it this far and you're still watching right now, you guys are the hardcore people, man. I got a lot of love for the people that make it this far into the goddamn live stream right now, man. Or the podcast, I guess, the replay. If you watch it this far, man, I hope you're enjoying 1 and 2. Shout out to you, man. Get yourself some whiskey. Okay. What else do I have on here? Little word association. I just got like 5 names on here, okay? And I'm gonna name a name. You tell me what comes to mind when you think about that person, okay?
Yeah.
David Benjamin.
France.
What? Okay. Nikki Jedlicka. France. Okay. Nikki Jedlicka.
Degenerate.
Yeah. Zygmunt.
Great drinker.
Johan 5390. Shout out to Johan.
Raises a lot.
Raises a lot. Okay. Very sweet.
Never folds.
Jesus, man, those Swedish kids aren't fun. All right, last one. Genius 28.
Old school legend.
Yeah, man. Genius. Shout out to Genius. I know he's a fan of the podcast too. I agree. He's a legend. Doorbread asked on 2+2. He said, "Do you have any Japan stories you'd like to share? Like your most fun moment in Japan?"
Let me think. That's a good question. What? Jiro? Yeah. Well, I guess I guess Jiro was probably the best. It was the first day we got there, and for those who don't know, I like highly encourage watching Jiro Dreams of Sushi. It's to me, I think it might be the best documentary I've ever seen, and I loved it before I had gone there. It was like an obsession of mine, this documentary. I saw it in theaters, and it's basically, think about like all of that like passionate talk I had about sushi earlier. It's like a lot of it comes from like that. Like it's that sort of level of like intensity and passion about like something specific. And honestly, like as a poker player, you can watch it and be inspired because one of the main points that comes across, it's just for background, people don't know, it's about the documentary is about this guy named Jiro or Jiro, whatever. He's a sushi sushi chef, and he's like 85 years old or something. He's been doing this his whole life, and he's considered one of, if not the best sushi chef in the world. And he is, he's this like tiny little Japanese guy, and this is all he does. And he's this incredible character. And they do a documentary about his restaurant, which is a 3-star Michelin sushi restaurant in a subway station in Tokyo. And which is actually pretty normal, having a restaurant at a subway station. That's like pretty normal in Tokyo. Tokyo is a crazy place. It is a crazy place. It is awesome. You look confused.
I'm looking at the guy on the screen.
Oh.
I got my boy Jiro up here. I'm looking at his face.
You know Bolitos? PLO guy?
Why not Bolitos? Yeah, I don't know Bolitos though, actually.
It's his avatar on Stars, is Jiro.
Oh, okay.
So the documentary is all about him and his restaurant, and just it's most of what it is just him and like his family and talking about sushi and talking about life, and it gives this incredible perspective where basically he's saying, he's like this super expert, and he's basically, his message that he tries to get across, and that I think the documentary tries to get across, is that life is all about finding your passion and then committing everything to it, because that's what he does. He's basically like, I'm a chef, but all I know is sushi, and this is I'm committing my entire life to sushi. And it's really inspiring because you can apply it to so many different things, where it's just like, find something that you love and then like fucking do it. And it goes very much in contrast with, I think, a lot of like Western ideas of like work, where a lot of people think of work as this struggle, this horrible thing that you do it until you work for the weekend, and then you experience the weekend, and that's the break from work. But him, it's the opposite. He's like, no, you live to work. You live to do what you do as a job, and you do it as best you can. You become the best in the world at it, and that's what you should do in life. Anyway, so that's what the documentary. That's like the essence of the documentary. But you should really watch it. Everybody, I highly recommend it. And it's, if you like sushi, you will have a major sushi boner after this. It's fucking amazing. The food looks incredible in it.
Yeah,
and
it's called for guys that know, it's called Jiro Dreams of Sushi, Jiro Dreams of Sushi. If any guys are out there and you want to know the name of it, so you want to Google it, you can check it out. 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty goddamn impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible movie. Like it's really well done. And it's mostly in Japanese with English subtitles. But so we when we planned our trip to Japan, we tried to figure out the best way to get a reservation there, and it's like almost impossible. But Stephanie worked some magic and got us a reservation. And so
back up. Wait, hold on, back up. What do you mean? What does that mean?
I mean, there's no secrets. It's just we had like we were staying at like kind of a fancy hotel. Conrad in. Is it a secret? Okay. It's not a secret. We're staying at the Conrad Hotel in Tokyo, which is like probably the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at. And it was
Conrad Hotel.
it's fucking sick. And they their concierge booked us their concierge has like a lot of pull at like the big restaurants in Tokyo. So we basically stayed there and then we like booked our stay there and then asked the concierge if they could get us a reservation. And they did, which was crazy. We were like it was like a Hail Mary. Like we didn't think we had any chance of getting a reservation. So we threw up the Hail Mary. We get a reservation for Jiro, and we go on the first night. It was the very first night we got there. We got there at like 7 a.m. We landed in Tokyo, we're like jet lag and whatever. And we show up and we walk in and we walk into this like hallway where the restaurant is, and like we got there like half an hour before our reservation because we didn't want to be late. So we just literally got there half an hour early and we just sit down on a bench outside the restaurant, just like, sitting there patiently, just like waiting. And we can see them in the restaurant. The restaurant's it's closed, but you can see the chefs in there working and the waitresses or like the staff, getting tables ready and whatever. Sorry, no tables. There is a 7-seat sushi bar, and that is it. That is the entire restaurant. There's 7 seats. There's 2 seatings a night, 7 seats, and that is it.
What?
Yeah, that's how it is, man.
How'd you get a reservation for this place? I mean, I can understand why it seems hard now. Like, how do you?
I mean, and this is like the most this is the most famous sushi restaurant in the world, basically. It was months in advance. It was like we got a reservation like 4 months in advance or something like that.
Oh, okay. She must have really worked the magic, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we go and we're just sitting out there waiting in the lobby, like, or in the hallway. And then all of a sudden, Jiro, like the Jiro, the guy, he just comes out and he just kind of like looks at us and like gives like a head nod, like, oh, hello. And then goes to the bathroom, just like washes his hands and takes a piss or something. Like he was just doing some mundane thing. And we were just all like, oh, oh my God, he's there. Like, we were like, like little girls at like a, I don't know, Justin Bieber concert or something. Like that was the reaction, And I don't give a shit about celebrities, but for him, I was like gushing, And then at some point they say, okay, come in, like, or they ask our names. And I say, okay, come in. And it was just 3 of us at this reservation. We go in and they sit you down. They show you the menu of what they're serving for that. There's no, you don't make any choices. It's just omakase. It's just a set menu. And they say, do you like they show you what's on the menu and they say, do you like everything? Like, is there anything you don't like? You say, no, everything's okay. And they say, do you have any allergies? You say, no. Okay, do you want anything to drink? They don't show you the drink menu. They say, do you want anything to drink? So yeah, we'll have sake. Say, okay. They don't show you the sake menu. They just bring you a bottle of sake and give it to you. And they take away the menu and that's it. And then you're on the journey begins and they just start one by one, just plopping down. And they make it, they're making it by hand right in front of you and they plop it down in front of you and you just eat it right away they put it down and you eat it right away. And it's just like, it was like 18 pieces, just one after another, like super fast. It was done in like 20 minutes. And it was incredible. And like Jiro actually wasn't there's 2 chefs preparing the sushi because there's seven people. And so our chef was his son, who's also in the movie. So I was like, still starstruck by him. And he looks like a younger version of Jiro. And it was our first real eating experience in Japan because we just got there and it was like this crazy, intense, very like exhilarating culinary experience that also was just like combined with our like celebrity gushing or whatever over him, and it was just incredible. Like it really lived up to the hype. It was unbelievably delicious, and we all enjoyed it so much, and it was wonderful. It was like a great is a great experience.
I'm ready to go back to Japan right now. Now I haven't been there, but I'm ready to go now.
I had just the best time in Japan. I thought it was an incredible country. Like the culture was so interesting. People are like ridiculously friendly. They're not like outwardly friendly. Like they don't go up to you and start talking to you. Like they're very private people. But if you like engage them in conversation and ask for help or something, they're just incredibly helpful and nice. And like anybody in like the service industry, like any waiter or like chef or whatever that you talk to was just very, very like polite and accommodating and just so like everybody was just like very interested in what you had to say. And even though like not like most people didn't speak English, but everything is so like clean and formal and like and organized. Like people, like, you see the way people like wait for subways. It's crazy. Like I'm from New York, where it's just like a mad, chaos getting in and out of the subway. And then in Japan, it's just like there's like an organized line where the door is going to open, and it's a crazy culture. It's really interesting. It's everything is.
You're saying I should
mundane things, and it's so interesting.
Why should I move to Japan? I don't understand. Why move to Japan?
Yeah, I would do it. So it's such a cool country. It's so cool. Everybody, and the food is just so ridiculously good. Have you ever been to a steakhouse that has Japanese beef, like Kobe beef, like real like a lot of them claim they have it, but it's just nonsense. But most steakhouses that actually have real Japanese beef, it's really expensive.
I was at Nobu in San Diego, and they said they had some. I got some of that there, and it was really good.
Yeah, that's almost certainly real. If they say that they have Kobe or whatever Japanese beef. The thing is, in Japan, that's just all beef. That's what all beef looks like there. They don't have lean like American beef. It's all that like ultra marbled, like juicy, fucking like super fatty, delicious beef. That's all they have there. I almost got tired of it by the end because I was just like, I need like it's just like so rich and so like just fatty. It's really fatty.
Does your girlfriend share the same, or wife, fiance? Does she share the same love and excitement for sushi and for food in Japan?
Yeah, definitely. That's like it was like one of our earliest things that we bonded over was eating sushi. Oh. I said I proposed to her in a sushi restaurant.
That's true.
It was like our sushi restaurant in New York, Sushi of Gari.
The people in the chat want you to bring Stephanie on.
No,
we met Jungle Man's girlfriend. Now we want to meet Ansky's girlfriend, I guess.
No, we're not going to go there. It's not a secret or anything, but
she, I don't think she qualifies for the.
Here, so come say hello.
Okay. It was ask, boys. Let's see. She from America?
No, she's Canadian.
I'm Canadian.
Hold on. Oh my. Oh, hello.
Light is really bad.
Yeah, it's dark. You can't really see anything.
Hi.
The live stream. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you here. Can we ask you one question before you go?
Sure.
Okay. Shit, I actually don't have a question prepared for you. So, well, I don't have any questions for you.
Like you,
Huh. Yeah, I got nothing. Just tell us anything, and then that's it.
Well, I'm not really prepared either then, so.
Do you like to do yoga?
Yes, I do. Actually.
Well, you're gonna love Vancouver. Then. I hope.
Yes, I do. Awesome. Just tell me.
Oh, a lot of okay.
If anyone out there wants to adopt a Mexican dog, you should contact me to contact Stephanie.
Yeah.
To get a dog from the shelter and
save a baby dog.
Like one of these.
Save a baby dog. Woo!
Someone said she looks like Liv Bory.
No, she doesn't. No offense to either of them, but just she doesn't look like Liv. I know Liv that they don't look alike.
The comment.
Long hard hair, that's about it.
The comments in the chat are very positive for you, Stephanie. They enjoy you. Thank you for coming to say hello to us.
Bye, guys.
See ya. Bye, Stephanie. Adios, mom, puppy. All right, I think I don't know. You guys can let me know if you think Jungle Man's girlfriend wins or not. Jungle Man's girlfriend's so aggro, dude. God damn.
I watched a little bit of the Jungle Man podcast. I didn't see the end of I didn't see the part where she was in.
She's awesome.
She's aggro. I mean, Jungle Man's aggro. Sounds well suited.
Yeah. Christian asks, when are y'all going to Vancouver? Oh, you're already in Vancouver, right? Are you going back to Vancouver after World Series of Poker?
Yeah, that's the plan. We don't have any we'll be here after Vegas. Yeah, that's the plan.
Cool. I think I don't know. We'll get a couple more questions. So we're gonna wrap it up. I gotta go catch up on NBA for the night. And we've almost made this the longest one. The longest one is officially the Sean LaForte. First time he was on that, I just listened to that the other day. It was 3 hours and 14 minutes.
Wow.
I'm putting it back on iTunes. That one's one of the most legendary podcasts of all time. The first time Sean came on the podcast, we talked so much strategy. I had to alter my whole entire thought process on podcasting in the future because there's way too much strategy in that one.
He's got a lot to say.
Goddamn LaForte, man. LaForte just, yeah.
Good guy, great poker player.
Fittest man in poker, allegedly, debatably, besides Jay Kuhn. Very close, though. Are you going to be hanging out with Jason or Ben at all? Because I think they live in Vancouver.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to dinner with Phil Galfon and Ben 86 on Sunday. I went deep in the $162 six max tournament. And I couldn't go to dinner. It's a tournament like I never play, and then I played it and I made the final table, so I couldn't go to dinner.
Yeah.
I would love to hang out with them. I like both those guys a lot. I think both are really smart guys and really just both of them are just super nice, good guys.
Yeah, Ben. Phil's, they're both. they're both like great people. Obviously, Phil is doing these.
Yeah,
Still playing.
I assume Phil would come on the podcast. I don't know if Ben would. Ben is kind of shy. Like that's not his personality type necessarily. But he's like the nicest guy. I think Ben might come on.
He's
also, I'm not killing his action. Everybody kind of knows, but just to put it out there, he is the king of PLO right now. I mean, he's the best. Like everybody should,
bow down, motherfuckers.
Bow
down, motherfuckers. Yeah, dude, Ben is and he's got those arms too, man. Those goddamn. Have you seen those arms lately?
Yeah. Great combination of PLO greatness and biceps.
Like I don't even want to have him on a podcast. He's got to wear like a coat if I get him on a podcast. I'm not trying to look at.
Yeah, he might even embarrass LaForte with his guns. I don't know.
I know. I'm not trying. I can't look at his arms that long. I'm gonna want to go to the gym and work out while I'm with him. Doorbed S Japan Stories asked someone. CGS on Twitter. How much work to play ratio do you do in an average day for PLO?
It depends on what exactly you consider work. Like I do a lot of passive work where I'm just kind of like at my computer, sort of like with my feet up and not playing and just like doing like a little bit of like, looking at a hand, like running some equities and stuff, not like super hard work. Like that type of stuff I do like an hour or two every day. And I might play like 6-7 hours a day if I can get the action. I'm not always getting action though. And then like hard work, I probably only do like half an hour a day, maybe on average. Like it's just kind of variable. Like some days I realize like there's a certain situation that I'm really bad at, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out, and I spend like 4 hours doing it. But then other times I might go like a few weeks without doing like any lab work. Like there's just like a lot of like,
that makes sense. When did you start using the word lab? When did you start using this?
I don't know. Somebody said it the other day. I think I
did you see it on my Twitter or something.
Huh? I mean, lab work is the perfect word for it because that's what it is. It's like you're doing like calculations and experiments basically.
I got the word lab from Patouche, and then I started using the word lab all the time now too.
I don't know. It's interesting that you asked that because I feel like this is the first time I used it, and I just started using it like on this podcast. I was just like, oh, lab work.
It's a great word. GTO, guys, great word. Always use GTO, not everything you talk about, by the way. What was the last one? Okay, power rankings. Do you have any power rankings, Rems asks?
The only concern about power rankings is I don't want to like spoil people's action, but it's just like everybody knows at this point, so it's like who even cares?
Okay, let's do a 6-max potential Zoom power rankings list potentially.
Sure. Okay, I'll do number 1, Ben 86.
Bang.
Number 2, Sauce.
At 6 max zoom?
You sound surprised.
I don't think I've seen him. I don't think I've seen him play any 6 max zoom in the past like.
No, he played a lot last year. He plays a little bit less this year because he's been more focused on mixed games. But trust me, you don't want to play the sauce. Number 2 sauce. Number 3. Ike.
Who?
Hollywood Haxton.
Oh, Hollywood Haxton. I had no idea you were talking for a second there. Okay, Hollywood Haxton. Okay, 3. Hollywood Haxton.
Number 4, a guy who, for some reason, people don't put him on their top list. I have no idea why. He seems to fly under the radar. Is MOP.
MOP, dude, that guy's a fucking boss.
He is a serious boss. He is great at poker.
He was the top winner in Russian PTR last year.
MOP was?
Yeah. MOP 1, Lottie 2, Berry Sweet 3.
He's great. MOP is fucking great. Very, very impressed by him. I don't know who he is or anything about him, but he's a great PLO player.
I don't know who he is either.
I guess for a ranking, I gotta have a 5, right? I guess number 5, I would go with. I feel like those 4 are like super elite. That I'm super confident in those top 4. I guess number 5, I'd go with. Maybe Ravenswood.
Interesting.
I think he gets in there at number 5. So I'm not, none of those guys I'm ever happy to play with.
Barry Sweet's fucking pissed right now. I know he's watching this too.
No, I think all the Swedes are really good. I just
Barry Sweet's gonna go win $2 million this year now. Now that you hear this guy, he's
no. I think all those Swedes are great. I don't. You're talking about these are like Sauce and Ben. I mean, come on, they're like. It's no insult to say that they're better than somebody.
It's true. East Coast says, who is up and coming in the world of PLO? You've got to shout out some newcomers, guys from 2-5.
Let's see. I don't know. There's some guys who like take shots at 25-50 who, I don't necessarily think they're all like the best, but they certainly seem like at least reasonably good. That are probably getting better really fast. Let's see. I got to give some credit to Omaha for Rolls. That guy, no fear, just brings the pain when he comes to 25-50. He is ready to play.
Yeah, according to a Russian tracking site, Omaha for Rolls might not have been the best idea to go to that 25-50. That's all I'm.
That surprised me because I remember the last time I saw him at 25-50, he had a 100K stack.
What?
So he had a 100K stack and a 50K stack, 2 different entries.
What
like I said, he brings the pain.
Can you believe he's friends with Danfu?
It's hard to believe because they could not possibly play any different.
I can't believe they're different. Okay, so Omaha for Rolls 1. I would agree with that one.
This is just like any like mid stakes guys who take shots at higher stakes. Is that kind of what?
Kind of like up and comers. So I mean, I always throw Nestalita in there, even though Nestalita might not necessarily call himself. I think he's.
I haven't played that much Nestalita. I can't. I played a little bit.
Obviously, Action Freak. I think Action Freak is.
Action Freak. I think Action Freak's pretty good.
I think he's definitely coming. Actually, I'm gonna check the Russian. I'm just gonna go to I'm gonna go to Russian PTR right now. God, I love Russian PTR. What a great site. You ever been on Russian PTR?
I don't have a membership, but I've seen some screenshots.
Seen some screenshots, huh? Let's look at the up and comers list here. I think Action Freak was like one of the top winners at 5510, I believe. Omaha for God damn. Up and coming. Action. Yeah, I don't see any up and comers really besides Action Freak and Nestalita for the most part. I think everyone else has been around for a long time. I think EEE27, the guy from Finland, I think he's I put him on the up and comers for last year.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he's played much above 1020. But yeah, I'd say those guys. Maybe Harsicles.
Don't know that person either.
He's a Finnish guy as well. But yeah, I got no other up and comers for anybody else.
Honestly, player pool is just not changing that much. It's pretty much the same thing as it was a year ago. There's not very much movement.
It seems like it's been the same people for like year. Like if Fuchek came up last year. Fuchek he wasn't around high stakes until last year, and now he's just like, fucking dominating competition. But I think for the most part, everyone else here everyone has been around for quite a long time. So interesting. I see Brian Roberts up here on the top 10-20 winners list for this year.
Nice.
Pokerstars. Nice job, him. Goddamn Fuchek. What a fucking boss. Yeah, wow. Brian Roberts' graphs is fucking sick on Russian PTR. Holy shit. Shout out to him, man. That's it. Anybody else got a question? I'll take one more question. That's it. Then I'm wrapping up. I got to eat. Ansky's got to eat. He's got a girlfriend or a wife to.
I got to go take a piss, really, is the most important concern. But one more question. Let's do it.
One more question, guys. I gotta wait for the Joey is that GTO tank top? I actually have a tank top like that, by the way, East Coast. One more question. That's it. Does he think it'd be possible to make money at PLO in 10 years? Of course. It's not even, come on, Ilya. That's a great. Ilya, you asked a couple questions, so let me go back up to your question before. That's it. I'm waiting for the delay. There's like a 30-second delay on the questions, and then someone will ask a question. Oh yeah, 2 future guests. Who would you recommend?
Oh, that's a good question. If Chewy is willing, I think you should get Chewy on for sure. Chewy's a super interesting, very different poker player. Like a lot of poker players are kind of like the same but different. He's just different but different. Like, very interesting guy. Yeah, great human being. I think he'd be a good guest. And then, so that's like my interesting person. And then from the PLO world, I'd say, I don't know. I mean, if Sauce or Ben 86 or Phil Galfond, any of those guys would be interesting.
All right, don't give me those names. I need different. Obviously, everyone
you want somebody you haven't heard before.
Give me a name I haven't heard before. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. You want like some tournament players, like some.
Yeah. I mean, I like tournament. All the tournament guys I've had on, I very much enjoy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of somebody who I know, like some of my friends who I know would not be mad at me for suggesting that they go on, because not everybody is public and wants to do this. I'm thinking.
Okay. East Coast says, will you do a fans meetup in Vegas this year? Of course, man. We're gonna do some crazy shit for anyone that's a fan of the podcast, for sure. We're gonna do some. Dan Shack. Oh man, I think Dan Shack. I tried to get to go to EDC with Dan Shack. I don't know what Dan Shack. We had some conversation on Twitter.
I don't know if he would have any interest, but Scott Seaver would be an interesting person to have on. He's super smart, fantastic poker player, really interesting guy. Has a lot to say about everything, basically. I think he'd be interesting.
I think I saw him. I met him in Los Angeles during the poker award thing, and he said he wanted to come on a podcast, but I don't know how to really get in touch with him outside of that. Maybe I'll add him on Facebook and see if he wants to come on.
No, he probably would do it. No, you should do it. He's a really interesting guy. One of my best friends in poker.
Yeah, man, he seemed pretty fun. And then okay, one more question. I'm gonna cheat and just take an easy one from Charter, because I like Charter.
Charter, yeah, I know Charter. Of course, I know.
Are you going?
Podcast.
What'd you say?
Charter on the podcast.
Charter keeps saying he says he's not interesting enough to come on podcast. He says he's boring. I don't know what he says. Charter says we gotta get Charter drunk in Vegas and get him on a podcast or something.
Okay.
He says, are you going? This is the worst question to end it on, but are you going for all of World Series of Poker?
Yes, I will be there from beginning to end, Charter. You and I will spend tons of time together. It'll be great.
That sounds sexual in nature. The Hobo King. I will not have the Hobo King on a podcast ever in my fucking life. And I'm going to end the podcast on that note. I will never have the Hobo King on a podcast. I will never have Spanish on a podcast. I will never have One More Spin on a podcast. I will never have.
Way to take a stand. Good job.
I'll never have Strati on a podcast. I'll never have any people on a podcast ever in my life. And I'm leaving it at that. Donnie, you got anything to add?
No, that's it, man. I really have to take a piss.
Okay, good. We're going to wrap it up. Donnie, take it easy, buddy. See you later. Stephanie, shout out to you. Thanks for making an appearance. See you later. Guys in the stream, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern, talking about fun shit. That's it.
All right. See you, man.
Peace.